did a little setup. Oh yeah, I should post it on my stories. Yeah, I did
Yes.
external camera setup. Yeah, so that it will be a lot clearer than my webcam.
Yes.
I'm planning to do more live streaming.
You use light also?
Yes.
Like,
okay.
yes.
Maybe I will put it on my Instagram stories. Yeah, before we get everyone. Wait, is everyone here? It's Wande is here already. Okay. Wait. I need to invite him.
Oh gosh, we have 49 people.
Oh, Wande is here, and then I will need to find. Wande is here. Is he? Is he able to join? I am in. Okay. Can you go live? Yes. Or let's see if this works. I'm hearing some noise. Oh,
Yeah, it's Florencia.
I think it might be from
Yeah,
Florencia.
me.
Okay. Is it sound better?
Yeah,
Close?
yeah, it's better.
I'm waiting for access. Yeah. Oh, I did invite you. Wait. I did. Let me press again. Okay, invite. Let me see if you can be invited. I think so.
Yeah, there we go. It's loading.
It's loading. Okay, great. Wande, do some testing. Audio test. Hi. Okay. Okay, awesome. Okay, now we're missing Joe and Joe and Usman aren't here yet. We'll just wait for them. If you guys see them, please let me know in case I miss out. Yeah. Okay, I'll just put in the chat when you're in. Please message in chat so that I know. Okay. Hi, Cloves. Okay. Yeah. I was supposed to
I move another area.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. That's a lot more quiet.
Is better the song?
Yeah, it does. It does sound a lot better.
Yeah, okay.
Like we have to check it close. Does it sound better? Okay. Yeah. All ready. Okay, I'll just put that in the stories. Okay, I have a question for everyone. What's your TV show growing up? Wow.
Hannah Montana.
A TV show growing up. What? Favorite TV show growing up? Anime, okay? When I was growing up, I liked the anime Cardcaptor Sakura a lot. Oh, Joe is here! Okay.
I loved Mew Mew Power.
Oh.
But I'm sure it was called, yeah, I'm sure it was called something else internationally because South Africa, you know, like to censor a lot of things.
Oh. Let's see. I made turn. Hello, Joe.
Hi,
Joe.
Awesome.
Hi,
I think we were just waiting on Usman and then we're gonna be good. Okay.
Perfect.
Just giving some pressure. Dude, it's 7 minutes into the live stream. Where are you? Or is he here already? Let me check. Alright, everyone's streaming in. Hellos. Hi. Let's see. He's not here yet. We'll just have to wait. I put the live on my second monitor while I make a new gaming effect. Gosh, close. You're just making us feel so stressed. No, I'm kidding. What kind of gaming effect are you making?
Oh my gosh.
Are you making one with the new ranking, the global ranking capability?
Yeah, the leaderboard.
Yes, the leaderboard.
Yes, the leaderboard. But
Oh,
the new,
have you guys made anything with the leaderboard yet?
No.
No, not yet.
Me neither.
I've been working on
No,
stuff.
but the new club's effects from Coca-Cola is amazing.
Oh, Coca-Cola.
You have to try it.
Wow, I should. Wow. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
So good, Klaus. It's so good.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Let's see. Are we on live stream? Joe, your camera's not on yet though. Is your camera alright? Okay. Yes, okay. You put the link to the live stream.
You're welcome. You're an amazing game creator.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, we are all waiting for you, Cloves. Can you make a documentation about making effects on Lens Studio so that we all can learn? Because the documentation in Lens Studio, I don't like it. It's right. Yeah, maybe you can come up with a wiki for all of us. Yeah. Have you guys started making lenses so far?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah?
I'm a part of the Snap Lens Network membership thing, so
Oh, nice.
yeah, it's fun sometimes.
How is it different from making effects on Effect House, in your opinion?
It's not that different. There's just there's no node based. There is node based editing, but it's more JavaScript. I think it is friendly. And then they make it really easy to do it with stuff that they already have built in, if that makes sense.
I see. How about Wanda? Have you started
At
making
first,
any lenses?
No, not yet.
Oh wait, Haley has something to say. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying at first, Lens Studio is kind of like a smaller version of Unity, in between Effect House and Unity, I'd say. But at first, because I mean, honestly, using JavaScript is just so much easier than just doing the visual scripting. But at first, it's a little hard. But then, honestly, I really love Lens Studio. I think it's just once you get into it, so.
Awesome. I'm looking forward. I've only made really simple effects with it so far, but the reach is pretty good. They literally just put all my head on one of the just the head tracker, and I put it up, and then at some point it told me it was trending, there was notification and stuff like that. I was like, wow, it's just oh, you can't hear me? Oh
Yeah.
oh,
You're very soft.
I'm very soft. Oh, okay. Let me see if I can do something about it. Test.
Yes,
test.
I use Lens Studio since 2020, but all for the clients. In Argentina, they don't use Snapchat, so I don't use it for myself. And now I started making effects because I love ImmerseML. I love it. Machine learning is, I think, for the face effects are the best. So I started using a lot.
Nice. Wow. I'm thinking their tracking is a lot more powerful than Spark or Effect House. There's nail tracking, there's foot tracking, and even the head tracker is a lot more accurate, I think. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, Joe.
Yes.
What
Chantal
happened
is
to
saying
his?
that all her favorite creators are in one place.
Nice. Hi,
That's
Chantal.
Hey, Chantal.
Hello. Okay, we're waiting on Usman before
Hey,
we
Chantal.
start officially too. Yeah. So we're just chatting. Thank you everyone for joining. I think we have 48 people watching right now. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's actually a much bigger attendance than the last time we had a fireside chat. So that was last year. Yeah, if we could, maybe in future we'll try to do this either more often or maybe on another platform, for example YouTube or LinkedIn. I think they'll be pretty appropriate.
Yes.
Yeah, right? So I didn't even know that it was LinkedIn live streaming until recently. Oh, hey Joe, I can see you now.
Yeah, you can see.
Okay, we're waiting on Usman, and then once he's here, we will officially start. So let's just get comfortable, get yourself a glass of water. I'm gonna get myself a glass of water. 1 moment.
She just ditches us.
Yes. Now it's not allow the environment, no?
Now it's not there.
Okay.
I didn't
Perfect.
hear what you said. How's the weather where you're all at? We are having a cold front where it actually might snow in Africa. Like,
Snow.
it might
Wow.
snow, yes.
Oh.
It's absolutely freaking tired to break out my, I don't know if you can see it, but my Effect House hoodie.
Ah, yes. No.
Oh yes,
Here.
Wanda's also got his Effect House shirt on.
No, I only have a t-shirt that is quite broken because I use it for bouldering.
Yeah.
How does one day have two Effect House things? I think one of them was supposed to be for me.
Forgot to. Someone else.
How
Okay.
But
Why
does
do
it
you have
rain
to?
down in
Twice, how
Africa?
did you get
Yes,
two?
it does rain in Africa a lot. And I've heard that they're pretty blessed.
Okay. Is Usman in? Okay, maybe we should message.
No,
I think no.
Oh, I don't see him on Discord either.
might be sleeping.
Are you ready to go live? I think we yeah, I guess we can just start first, then he can join us in a bit or something. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Oh, I can actually do this. Oh, wait. I can expand someone else. Great. I don't have to be the big one on the screen.
No, but I think you can have it. You can have it in the sense of like a rectangle. I think.
Really?
So I've seen some other people have it
Oh,
in a rectangle because right now we're all on the right
right side. Oh, okay. Let's see if I
but
can
think,
change
I think
the
you can have
layout.
it like you might be able to do that.
Layout tips. Okay, I need to look for that layout actually. I wonder if they have it as a scene.
I'm not sure where the setting is, but it is.
Multi-guess is already there. I'm trying to see if there's the layout.
You want to get an Archie.
Yes.
Have you ever smelt your Archie?
Oh, I think I know why. Okay, Joe,
yes.
I'm
Is it,
actually going live from
like,
a desktop.
did
That's
you
why I
say-
can't do that one.
About the smell?
Maybe. Okay.
What you're saying?
It's
Yeah.
like Bubble Gum.
Sorry, what?
If you smell your Archie, it smells like sweets. I don't know if it's just me.
Yeah.
I am. Nice.
Do you guys ever use Archie for face tracking, like a second face?
No.
Oh, does it work?
I don't know.
It works?
I doubt so. I doubt so. Okay, everyone's like flashing Effect House swag, so my swag is just
How do we all get that little toy? It's so cute. From winning competitions, from being ambassadors, from what else did we get them for? Like end of year gifts, I think.
I got it from being a moderator.
Yeah. That so like if you help out in the Effect House community and do cool things, then they will send you an Archie or they'll send you merch or whatever. Whoa. No, I'm a big person.
yeah. I'll just start doing this like expanding thing. Okay. Oh,
Everybody can see
Usman,
how
are you
bad my
coming?
hair is.
He's not replying me, so I don't know if he's coming in, but
I wonder what time it is in the US.
it should be.
Yeah, in
Oh,
Canada.
I think it's
Current?
9 or
It's 6 a.m. I think.
it's 6
I
a.m.
think he's in Mountain Time or Pacific Time. So I think it's like 6 a.m.
based in
for now.
Canada, so I thought it would be pretty
Oh, in
close.
Canada. Okay.
but Canada is very big.
Yeah.
Have a
Oh, different time zones, right?
lot of different time zones.
Oh, okay.
For me, it's 8 a.m. right here. I think he's in Mountain Time or Pacific Time, which is like either 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. So
Oh,
yeah,
he
it's
might have
early.
not waken up in.
Where you based?
I'm based in Louisiana, in U.S.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes. It's nice.
Yeah, it's nice to be based in the US. You get to try all the latest stuff, right?
Yeah,
like
all of the cool stuff.
the YouTube effect making. Yeah.
Not allowed to talk about it.
There's so many events going on now, isn't there? This like September, October. There seems to be, Meta Connect, Snapchat, and all these other
Did you tune into
AI
Snap?
stuff as well. There's a lot of different. I didn't even realize that that winter time is when all this thing happens.
Yes.
Well, it's summer for me, so it's technically spring.
Yes, in my case, this is the first time that I have the visa for going to USA, and Meta shut down the Spark, so I say, okay, I never go to the summit. But I think the next year I will try to go. If I don't have the invitation, I try to ask it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope we get to go to the Snap event next year.
Yes.
Yes, I really.
Yes, I just yesterday I talked with Hugo, and he told me that he was near and go because urban people be there, and a lot of creator of the effect house being there, and he want to say hello and in person.
Oh. Wait, I think Florencia, you.
I was.
Yeah. Can you repeat?
Flo, you paused there for a second.
Yeah.
But you're back. Yeah, I made it like my mission that next year I'm going to Snap Lens Fest. Like, I don't care. It's like a dream of mine. I really want to go. Like, all of my friends go. So, but the only problem is that I have to fly from here to Dubai or London, London to New York to Los Angeles. So it's like 18 hours of flying for me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of transit. There's no direct flights to the US for you?
No.
I think you can fly direct from Cape Town to Detroit.
Oh.
But that's like an 18-hour flight in itself.
Right. Oh. Yeah, it takes like almost 20 hours for me, I think. Like for Singapore to the US, it's pretty far. So we have almost a 12-hour time difference, I think, or 13 hours times.
Yeah, it's far, but I'm gonna go. I don't care.
For sure. I really like, literally I was like, Rag, I think he's like one of the community managers or the community manager. Like, I literally tagged him in my story and said, like, next year I want to be invited to the event, and like that's my goal, and so I'll be making lenses so that I'll be invited. And then Thomas was replying to, it's like, yeah, my goal too, next year we will meet there.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can all go and meet in person.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Chantal says it looks incredible. It looks insane. Like, I couldn't imagine anything better.
I know. Oh. I really am looking forward. Like, so Salia, I think that's how you pronounce the name. She actually was there, and then I was like, oh my gosh, is it as good as they say? Can you really do this, like the gesture thing? How long will you get the lenses for trying? Oh, I see Usman. Wait, let me invite him so that we can start the session soon.
Okay.
A moment. Oh, maximum number of guests reached.
I talked with Chicks, and Chicks told me that they gave you the lens, the spectacles, and you can it have 2 years of subscription for free.
Oh
yeah,
yes, that's true.
Amazing, and I want to start learning to develop for the glasses.
I need to change the layout.
I think it's.
Like, I can't change the layout actually, I think. Wait, because they told me there's a maximum number of guests, and I think we hit the max. So maybe we can take turns. Perhaps Graham, is it okay if I take turns between you and Usman? Is that all right with you?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
It's actually okay. I can go because I think my washing machine is just arrived.
Oh, okay,
so I can come
okay.
back in like 15 minutes.
All right.
Yeah, I have to go to the work again I have only the lunch hour.
Okay.
So if you
can
want,
take turns.
I can go. Yeah.
We can take
Okay,
turns.
I'll
then.
be back in like 15 minutes.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see if Usman can
so
join
there
us.
must be some restrictions in the layout for desktop as opposed to.
Yeah, it is. I think so.
Mobile.
I mean, I don't know how many people can actually go live on the mobile.
I've seen quite a lot of people actually on the
Really?
mobile. Yeah. It's like a different layout.
Oh.
It's like half of the screen at the top is people and then the bottom is comments. So.
Oh.
And
I
is it
see.
only the hosts that can change the layout?
I think so.
I was
Because
looking for options, I can't see any.
yeah, I don't think you can. One moment, let me see if I can. Did I already invite Usman? Wait, I did, right? Let me try again. Usman, hey, where did he go? Let me message him again. Usman, are you in the live stream? We're gonna start soon. Amy has vacated seat. Vidai, they're just gonna post the video. Okay. Yeah, I think he's gonna post a video, maybe of the live stream. Alright. I will just wait for a moment and then I will just maybe give a short introduction of what we are going to be covering today. Okay, so for everyone that is watching, thank you so much for tuning in on this. I don't know where you guys are watching from. Maybe you can share with us in the chat where are you guys watching this live stream from. Okay. Yeah, where are you guys watching this live stream from? Tell us in chat. Okay. No one saying anything. Okay, never mind. I will just start for now. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining us. We are AR creators from all around the world, as you probably know. Patapon is my brother. He says he's from Mount Huaguo, which I guess he plays too much of that new Black Myth Wukong game. Yeah, and he's delusional. And Chico's game is lying on my bed at the moment. Alright, where are you guys watching from? Oh, from your bed as well. I want to be lying on my bed too. Yeah, it's 9:30 p.m. here in Singapore. What time is it for you guys? Oh, hello from Vietnam. Hello. Oh, I actually just came back from Vietnam like a couple, maybe 1 month or so ago. Yeah, before I started my new job. Alright, let's see who else is in chat. Okay, so what we'll be going through today, this is not a lesson. We will go through a round of introductions first, and everyone will do like a little self-intro. I'll be pinning everyone, and then we will share perhaps how everyone got into AR in the first place, and then what's our favorite effect that we have created so far. Next we'll be talking about client projects and monetization, how we make money out of making effects. The next we will be sharing about the challenges in marketing our AR effects, and then later part of the day we'll be sharing about some of the recent changes in the AR space, like for example with the Meta Spark going away, and with Lens Studio and Snap really ramping up things in AR, and where we think things will be going in this in the XR space. And yeah, finally we'll talk about the future of AR. So I hope this would be a exciting, interesting session for everyone that is watching. If you have not made an AR effect before, yeah, you can probably find out a little bit more from all of us, be it in the chat. There are many creators there are also great creators in the chat. Yeah, so maybe in the future we can invite like even more people, or perhaps like we could stream maybe like a Zoom, Zoom, like a Google Meet or something on YouTube, and everyone can just join in and watch the live stream. I think that would be a great format, but we're trying it on TikTok first because many of us here started making effects on TikTok or Spark AR or Meta Spark. Yeah. Okay, is Usman back yet? Okay, he isn't back yet, so I will wait for him to join in the stream before we officially start. Or maybe we can start with a little bit of a self-introduction. I'll start first, and then I'll just pin everyone. Whoever is being pinned and big in the screen, please go ahead and introduce yourself, okay? I'm Lynette. I'm from Singapore. I've been making AR effects since maybe the year before during Halloween. My Halloween effect was my first one, and my training, my profession, my training is in 3D game art, so it's a pretty interesting and smooth transition for me towards doing art for. Wait, Usman is here. Wait, where is it? Did I manage to add him? One moment, okay, accept. Okay, we're good. Yeah. Okay, is Usman here? Okay, awesome. Back.
Let's just get started here.
Okay, no worries. I'm just going through the introductions. Okay, so where was I? Oh yeah, my background is in game art. I used to teach 3D modeling, characters and stuff like that. And I've been making effects for mainly TikTok. But I've also some client projects I've done using Spark AR. I've collaborated with Haley. Haley Cat Paws here. Maybe Haley can wave. Yeah, right. We made an effect for MCCY, which is the Ministry of Culture and something in Singapore, and before SEA Games, it's a body detection gaming, and I did the scripting for the Spark part, and Haley did the scripting for the Effect House part, and we collaborated, and it was a pretty interesting collaboration. I really hope to see more collaborations amongst creators. And look at Usman. Oh, he's spinning. Okay, so I will just need to make sure that we get to see that he's spinning the basketball. Okay, maybe Usman, do you want to do a self-introduction?
Certainly. Hi, everyone. I'm Usman. I am a XR developer. I work for a company called Hercules Dynamics, but previously I was at Meta as a XR researcher. Became vice president of XR research at JP Morgan Chase. So my little thing is dying on me. One sec. Let's see if I can fix this.
What's going
real quick. Oh no. My stand.
Okay.
One sec.
No worries. You can drop the ball, Okay. No, he's not dropping the ball. He's spinning it on the drumstick. Oh my gosh, what? Okay, this is going on to the snippets for like our summary of this live stream.
I didn't drop it.
You did not. Oh wow. Okay, that's awesome.
Oh, sorry. What I was saying was so yeah, I work as an XR developer professionally. Mm-hmm. I used to teach a lot how to do development in Unity, mm-hmm. and eventually came across TikTok Effect House. Mm-hmm. Got really into it. Really like it. It's a lot of fun to make stuff with, and I wanted to kind of master it and teach it again. So I started making templates and tutorials and. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and start slowly taking on students. I've had a couple classes so far. I did some stuff on shaders. I know Haley was there, so that was cool to see her here.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of me. And I got some viral videos on TikTok where I was spinning a basketball. That's why I'm doing it now.
Wow, it's amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay. Maybe we can start with Florencia now. Let's.
Hi. Okay, well, I am from Argentina and now I am based in Berlin. I am joining with my husband that he's studying here. And well, I started in 2020 because I got cancer. And I say, okay, I can transform this shaped hair in something different. So I started making effects for that. And I love to make effects like the character effects. So I started working with clients since I have interesting characters, and now I am working since 4 years with effects. And I lost my work also because it was in the pandemic, so it was very hard time in that time. And now I am not only a cancer survivor, I am a pandemic survivor because the effects helped me in the pandemic and helped me in the life. So I love to do that. I started with Metaspark, and mostly of my clients are from Snapchat. So I started Snapchat at the same time that Metaspark. But now, when the Effect House started, I see the potential of the Effect House and I started making effects for fun and love to share what I do. I try to do art for myself, no, and try to live with the effects. That is amazing, incredible.
Awesome. Okay, next up we have Wande.
Hello everyone, I'm Wande Tricada from Indonesia. I've been working in AR for about 2 years now, starting in late July 2022 when Effect House was still in beta. Most of the effects I create are interactive and game effects. It's really nice to meet you all.
Okay, awesome. Next we have Graham. Okay.
Hey everyone, I don't have any world record attempts like Usman spinning a basketball for 19 hours, so I was thinking of going live a bit more often until I seen Usman's skills and creativity, so I decided not to. But I'm Graham, I'm from Dublin, Ireland. I'm making effects about just over a year now. My professional background is in software development, so I've created like mobile apps and websites. Was never really on TikTok, and I just kind of joined up one day, and about a week after that I seen people kind of creating their own videos of sports. Like I kind of primarily work in sports, and I seen people spend a ton of time editing their videos to create their favorite football teams, and I was thinking at the time there must be an easier way, so I downloaded Effect House. At that time there was no monetization in Ireland, we weren't part of any creators fund or anything, so I just started developing effects just for fun and to try and kind of help people create more content and kind of story tell and create their own narrative over effects that they can quite easily use and not spend a ton of time editing afterwards. So that's kind of how I got into effects, and that's kind of where I spend most of my time now, is just messing around in Effect House.
Awesome. Yeah, we don't get the creator awards in Singapore too. Yeah. Okay, here we have Joe. Oh wait, maybe you're
Yeah.
turn on.
Can you hear me now? Nice. Hi guys, I'm Joe. I know me as ProJoeARfilters. So I started AR work in 2020, probably early part of 2020. Just after, I think before 2020, I used to see quite a few filters, just basically people trying things on Instagram. So I started on Metaspark. People were trying things on Instagram, and I just wondered how there must be some technology or if it's open source or something. anyway, I did some research. I found it was Metaspark, and then I just downloaded it and just started messing around. But by then, there were not that many tutorials. There wasn't that. I mean, there were some tutorials, but it wasn't as widely available. Started messing around with that, and then I think for me, games was a natural progression because it was just interesting, just making something a bit more complex, using what I've learned to actually implement it. So started with that, did it for a few years, and then started selling templates. And then I think just by joining the Metaspark community and selling templates, that helped me improve my skills a lot, because I had to be responsible to people that were buying it. So if you were buying the template, then it had to work. So I had to improve my skills. So that's kind of the snowball effect. And then just like one day I joined the beta program. No, actually, I think I probably joined Effect House a little bit late because I'm on PC, and I think back then Effect House was available for Mac users only. And I was so tempted to buy a Mac computer because I wanted to get into Effect House. But just as I joined, I think someone asked me to join, and I saw a countdown. And this countdown was, I think they were saying, when this countdown ends, we're going to open Effect House for Windows. So I stayed there for maybe about a couple months, and now I'm on the Effect House Ambassador program. So it's quite interesting actually to see like the journey and learn both systems. So my next challenge hopefully will be Lens Studio, that I can get on and learn a few new things.
Awesome, right? Yeah, the ambassador as well. Like a number of us are all ambassadors in the chat. Yeah, and here we have actually Heather, who is the moderator in the Effect House Discord. Hi Heather, you can start your introduction.
I'm sorry. Okay, where did I start? I'm Heather. I'm from the US. I got into AR about 3 years ago. I actually started like several years ago. I used to do like programming, like HTML, CSS, a little bit of JavaScript. Like I'd mess around like whenever I was younger, and then I started getting interested in like mobile game development and mobile app development, and then like I had a lot of health issues and I had to take a break for a bit, and I started having a hard time programming, and that's when I got like really deep into like the art area. And that's what one day when I was scrolling on Instagram, I found an ad for Spark AR, and that's what I was like I looked it up, figured it out and stuff, and that's what I was like, it would be so cool to create like makeup effects using my artwork. So I started learning Metaspark, and when I started learning Metaspark, it got me back into programming, and I found like the visual scripting helped me to like visualize what I was having an issue with, like when it came to programming, what I had begun having issues with. So I started like being able to understand it and started getting like to where I was really enjoying both the artistic and the programming side. So it like meshed both areas. And then I started looking at like, okay, Instagram, Facebook has Spark AR. Do any other platforms have AR platform? So I started looking at like TikTok. I looked up YouTube. I looked up Snapchat. I looked up like every social media network I could find, and that's when I found out that TikTok. Like I found a news article that said TikTok was launching their Effect House in the Mac beta, and that's what. But it was Mac, and I was a Windows user, so I ended up watching that for like every week for like months, and then finally like they released the Windows beta version, and that's when I joined Effect House. And after joining Effect House, I've just gotten like really like, before it was more so just for fun. I really enjoy creating because like to get to see other people enjoy, bring happiness to other people, and just like the mix of creativity and technology is just a really cool mix. So yeah, and now I've moved on to also learning Lens Studio. I'm doing for YouTube. I'm doing for several other things. I'm working with Eighthwall and Unity and stuff. I'm trying to like explore. I'm like, my main focus is social AR, but then I'm also exploring to like web AR and mobile AR. So.
Okay, great. I I guess I didn't share how I actually got started. So I actually made my first AR effects back when I was still working at Nanyang Polytechnic as a social media and outreach executive. That was after I was a lecturer, and basically what was it? Oh yeah, I decided, like, because I was taking care of the social media platforms and I saw you could create effects on Spark AR. So I went on YouTube and found some tutorials and I made a couple of filters for the school. And then I stopped because the pandemic got me really busy. I did a lot of live streaming and a lot of live stream events. I had to convert many outreach activities or even grad shows and stuff like that to online events all by myself. So I spent a lot of time doing live streams. That's why today I'm using my computer and, like, a more sophisticated setup for my live stream. And yeah, basically what happened was I received a DM, from someone in TikTok Singapore, and I thought it was a scam. so I was like, is this legit? Then I took a screenshot and I started asking friends. I'm like, is this real? Is this a scam? What are they asking me to do? Create some. I mean, like, I knew about effects, but I was like, why would they, like, suddenly message me on my personal IG and not my art IG? I have no idea, but like that's how I got started. And then, like, when I started, it was pretty late, later than most of the creators here, except for Usman. I think he's pretty new. For me, it's I think I started like the Halloween challenge period. So I was like, let's give this Halloween thing a try. And I was like, hey, you could do facial avatar drive. You could do a lot of fancy things with effects. It's not just like, putting a 3D model on your head. There are many things that can be done. So yeah, I'm slowly exploring. My interest is in 3D, so as much as possible I try to make my effects in 3D and AR. Okay. Oh, what happened? Let me expand it back. I think Joe clicked something. Okay, next thing we're gonna talk about is what is your favorite effect so far. So we'll start with Usman again. Okay, let me get him back.
Favorite effect that we made, or just any effect?
You.
Okay, sure. I think my favorite effect is this one. It's not my best effect. It only has like 35 posts, but it's the SpongeBob cookout effect.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to replicate one of those cookout games where you're getting orders from customers and you're just trying to cook that particular food as quickly as possible. It's pretty complicated. A lot of people couldn't figure out how to play it, unfortunately, so I gotta work on that. But it needs like a tutorial, I guess. But it is super fun. You're just like, the fry order comes in, you spam the mashed potatoes so that you cut the fries in for them. Burger comes in, and then it'll be like, this one needs lettuce, this one needs cheese, this one needs both, and then you make the burger properly and then serve it up. It's super fun, addictive. Anyone I show it to in real life has always had positive responses. But it is what it is with TikTok effects. I found that the more complex it is, the harder, the less likely it's going to do well. But that's definitely my favorite.
A lot of times we make effects that we like and they aren't effects that are very popular. We spend a lot of time on it, and maybe some effect that you spend 5 minutes on, it became viral. So yeah,
yeah, I have one that's super viral, and it's just like walls. Like you have this image and it passes through a wall with a shape, and the wall is cut out to the inverse of that shape. I released that as a template as well, and yeah, I mean, like, that took me maybe 25-30 minutes to make. It's so easy. It's just tap, 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 and then that's it. That's all you have to do to win. And that one is like 60,000, 100,000 posts. I don't know. So this is just, it's ridiculous.
Oh, it's me. Sure. My favorite effect that I have made is one on Instagram. It's called Luma, but I essentially use a chroma key, almost like a green screen, to take the color black and replace it with rainbows, which is really fun. I love it so much. It has, I think, over 6.8 million users and reels on Instagram. It's probably my favorite. Yeah, I don't know if it is my favorite though, because I'm very proud of every effect that I create, even though they don't get a lot of uses. Or if it's like a 10-use one and I spent like 3 days making it.
I feel you.
So it's a fickle world out there, but yeah. So I think all of my effects are actually my like favorite. But if I had to pick one, then it would be my Luma one.
Awesome. Okay, let me expand. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to touch on kind of something that Usman said there, and obviously Cloves is commenting as well. I think is around the complexity, and I think when I started out, I just assumed that things would naturally just pick up, and regardless of how complex you've done them, that they just get views and go viral. And then the more you realize it's all about engagement, and it's all about how easy someone can use it. And I think one of the biggest challenges when you're trying to make complex effects is to try and make them usable. Yes. And that always doesn't translate. And I think that's a big part of UX, is to try and make them easy to use. And I remember seeing Usman's cookout one, and I actually used it, and I was able to figure it out, but it wasn't easy. And a lot of people that I talk to say that it needs to be simple, like as in it needs to be foolproof. But I think the more complex you push, the less chance you have of having them really easily playable. So that's always a challenge. But my favourite effect that I've kind of created was the My Football Career one. And as a kid growing up, I think most people that like football want to be a professional footballer. And I think the effect that I created was to try and give people a chance to storytell and build up their own career. So as they progress through the years, they get offers from different clubs, and then at the end of each season they get to see how many goals they scored. And I've had like my favourite football team, Arsenal, use it, and one of my favourite footballers ever, Ian Wright, use it. And seeing something like that kind of makes all the effort that you put into things worthwhile. And it's not about, for me again, it's not really about the money, it's about the fulfillment that you get from seeing people use it. And there's a few people that I smile instantly when I see them use it, just because they put a smile on my face and the energy that they have. So I think I see a lot of people recently wants to kind of create effects for money, and I think if you get into anything just for the money, it probably isn't the best thing. It's about the enjoyment, and if you do something and keep going and you do a good job at it, the money will come and everything else will come with it. But I don't think that should be our primary kind of goal in doing things. But yeah, to me it's like seeing people use it and getting enjoyment out of it that gives me pleasure.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you this point 100%. Like a lot of times I see nowadays in the general chat on Effect House Discord, I guess we all know who we're talking about. Yeah, a lot of people are demanding like more money or asking for a lot more, when like people like us who have been making effects before the monetization actually happened, really made effects because we really liked to see people enjoy our effects. And a lot of the money that we actually make from making effects aren't actually from TikTok, but they're from client projects. So maybe Wande, you can share with us your favorite effect. Oh wait, your mic is not on. Okay.
Hello, Fran. We miss you. About my favorite effects, one of my favorite project is Word Pyramid. It became popular in the US, UK, and Latin America. I actually came up with it on Saturday night when I saw some creators making videos about the game. The next morning, I started working on the concept and finished it in just one day. It blew up, and become super popular with many people and even celebrities using it. John Green, the author of Looking for Alaska, even following me after it went viral.
That's awesome.
On the flip side, I also received a lot of hate comments and DMs, which gave me a taste of what cyberbullying feels like.
Interesting.
This effect, World Pyramid, also got me nominated for the TikTok Awards Indonesia in 2023. It was one of the most exciting moments of my life because I got to meet so many Indonesian creators and my online friends. I was so happy.
You know, like I always see, like, you know, in Indonesia they have the award show and it's very grand. It's like you're like a celebrity going out on stage, and it's like really amazing how big the community in Indonesia is. I think you guys even have like a mentorship program that you know, yeah, you are a mentor for that mentorship program, right?
Mentor too.
Yeah. How was that experience for you?
First time, I think it's I feel I don't.
Hey,
Sorry.
Wande, your mentee is Dini's there.
Yes.
Right, is that your mentee?
One of my mentee.
Oh, nice.
Hello, Dian. It was really nice to see some aspiring effect creator who want to learn more. Like Dian. Dian is so talented. I love his projects. Sorry, I got panic.
It's okay, it's okay. Okay, maybe we will have Joe come up.
Okay.
Hey Joe, your mic is not on.
Yep.
Okay, so your favorite effect?
My favorite effect? Well, tough one. Favorite effect? I'll probably say probably the last sort of favorite effect was the one I did. It's a zap effect. Basically, you have lightning that goes across, so you have this little fly that you have to tap the screen and it jumps up and down, but you have to avoid different. You have to avoid the getting zapped. Why I like the effect is because I think for me, technically, I just try to learn a lot of stuff and then build a filter that encompasses all that I've just learned, and then move on to the next project. Not all the time, but sometimes. So that effect, it was a game effect, but also I just kind of started learning a lot about the material graph. So a lot of the zapping is all material. It's all material graph. So it's all generated using code. And I had to try and make that material graph as a collision with the fly. So it was quite complex for me, but I thought for me that was me trying to learn on a filter, publish it, and just kind of put my work out there and then move on to the next.
Oh, I'll try to show the effect. Let me a moment. Okay. So I'm not sure if you guys can see. This is the effect that Joe was talking about.
Yeah, so those zap things are all generated using the material graph. Yeah, so those zaps were made using the material graph, but I was just experimenting, just trying to see if it's possible, if it's not. I mean, it took me a while to get, but it was literally just trying to experiment. So I just go through a whole process of learning all this new stuff, and then I just say, oh, what client project or what project can I implement those things into? So yeah, that was probably one of my favorites.
Oh gosh, sorry. I keep getting scared every time I see myself on screen. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I say my favorite effect, honestly, my favorite effect is one called Pizza Kitty. It's like, basically I drew a cat, basically a cat that delivers like pizza. And that's what basically it's getting through like pizza caverns like in a like pizza tunnel basically. And basically you're trying to navigate the different like the drippy cheese pizzas and trying to get like the pizza toppings and like get out of there without getting hit with the pizzas. And that's honestly my favorite effect. I've did all the graphics and stuff, but it hasn't been published yet. It's basically it's like in the process. It's going to be published by the end of today. But for my published effects, I'd say my favorite effect would probably be my furry links filter I made last year. It's like giant like fluffy. I think it's furry links. That is like a giant fluffy creature that I drew from scratch, and that's what it had won the effect. It was second place in the Fashion Month challenge for Effect House and stuff. So. We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Lynette.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm the one who forgot. Okay. My favorite effect. I've worked on quite a number, and every single time I think the newest effect is always my favorite. But an old effect that I like that I think it's pretty underutilized was this effect called Boop the Floofs. Yeah, it's basically like really adorable little characters I designed, and I like just like you can use your finger and you can boop them, and that was it was implemented way before there was any physics engine, so I had to do a lot of scripting to make it look like the physics was working. So a lot of times people will be like, oh, how did you do it? It isn't even working in the first place. Like how do you do this without physics? So yeah, it was a lot of math. So well, yeah, I guess my most recent effect currently is one that is live on the Eva Air SG Instagram page. Yeah, my client projects apparently a lot of them like to do Instagram effects, which unfortunately will be taken down by January, I think. Yeah, so basically the effect, you send like a lantern up to the sky. You get to choose which lantern that you want to send, and that lantern corresponds to a different destination that you would like to fly to. So there are 5 cities. I think there is Tokyo in Japan, Taipei in Taiwan, Paris in France, and Seattle in the US, and where was the last one? I forgot. Yeah, so basically 5 countries, and then the different lanterns you can just send them, and you get to stand a chance to win a pair of tickets to the country. So I thought that was pretty awesome. So I hope that the campaign runs well, and I also hope that I will win the tickets. So yeah. All right. The next thing that we are going to be talking about is, oh wait, did everyone get to say? Please tell me if I've missed anyone out. Did I miss anyone out? Are all good? Okay. So I guess this is a good segue into our next topic. It's about client projects and monetization. So a number of us have been working on a lot of client projects, I think. Maybe we can discuss a little bit about like how we managed to get some clients interested in our work, which platforms did they reach out to us from, how that process goes about, on which platforms do people want your effects on. Like, you know, for me, a lot of times people ask for Instagram effects. Even though I'm a TikTok effect creator, they will ask, can you do on both platforms, or can you do on Instagram? Yeah, so I'm curious, like, for different countries, how it is. In Singapore, I think some companies are still a little cautious about starting a TikTok presence. So they will ask questions like, "Oh, we don't have a TikTok presence yet. Can we still make a TikTok effect, or should we just go ahead with Instagram?" So usually I will try my best to pitch to them like the you know, the advantages of making an effect on TikTok over Instagram, and, like, you know, different features. So maybe I can invite Graham to share more on your experiences working on client projects.
Yeah, Lynette, and I think that's something that you do quite well, is the marketing side around that. It's something that I think we probably all should understand and learn about, in terms of the numbers and the stats, and, you know, the different features that are available on one platform over the other. But all of my kind of client work is essentially in Effect House. I haven't actually tried to even branch out into Instagram or Snap or anything, and it's something that I've been really interested in recently, and I probably will start to dabble. But it's all around kind of just clients reaching out to me. I had one client project that Fran was on recently. It was instrumental in pushing that through. But most of the time, clients will either come across your profile, see something that they feel will work quite nicely for them, or even just want to explore ideas. And I think, again, comes back to my previous point, is that if you just keep on pushing out content and trying different things, and try to be creative, you know, eventually it will end up being noticed. And I think that's the key thing there, is that, you know, regardless of what the effect is, it's all about creativity. So my recent one that I worked with a client on was for a flashlight, and they wanted to promote one of their products and they didn't know how. So we decided to kind of brainstorm on a little game where each of the different components on the flashlight would turn into a game where they had to kind of hit targets that were flying across the screen. So, like, all clients can benefit from an effect, and I think it's about coming up with something that works well, that's engaging, and that also promotes either the brand product or raises awareness to the brand. So yeah, it's like most of the time for me personally, it's the client reaching out to me. I haven't really put too much effort into reaching out to brands, and it's something that I am going to be doing over the next couple of weeks. But again, it's just the more content you push out, the more effects that you create, the more creative you are. People notice that, and they want to work with you because they know that you will be the person that can come up with an idea that will work for both sides. Sorry, Lynette, you're on mute.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. Okay, let me expand myself. Maybe we can share a little bit, like, when you receive a request from your client, how often do you actually pitch back to them their ideas, or push back, or edit the ideas? Yeah, maybe the next person to share, perhaps we could have Usman. Okay, you're on mute. Okay. Here we go.
There. Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, maybe share with us just like your client project experiences so far. How have they been reaching out to you and stuff like that?
I think certainly. I've definitely noticed most of my clients have come from Discord. I had Hasbro's, Warner Brothers for Looney Tunes, Hasbro's for Transformers movie. I've had Netflix for a TV show called Can't Date This, and so forth. Essentially, I think for me, they've seen me established as kind of like the guy who makes all the tutorials and resources on the Discord server at this point. And so I think I've like very much saturated myself there, and I think that's been helpful. And so they reach out to me. They typically give me, some grand vision for what they have for their TikTok effects, and yeah, I just try to replicate it the best that I can, and give them space for revisions. Some definitely use those revisions a lot. Oh my goodness. I think I've had a project where the project was pretty straightforward, did it in a day, and then the revisions took a month long to do. So they were like, change this little thing, change this little thing.
Oh man.
It's fun and it's challenging. So we've, I don't know if you guys have seen that Slice 50/50 come out before. So I learned how to make that with shaders and stuff, cutting things in half, and that's the transformers. There's static on your mic. Yeah, I'll rejoin here in a second.
Okay.
But yeah, so the Transformers movie is coming out, and we're going to release a filter where you cut different things in half. So it'll be cool. It'll be fun. I think you guys will like it. Let me drop down and rejoin.
Okay, sure. Let me expand myself a little bit so that he has time to drop off and come back. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, like maybe we can hear from, let's see, Amy. Would you be okay? Let me accept him back. Right. We can hear from Amy how your client projects have been going. Your mic. Okay.
Am I unmuted?
Yes.
Yeah, great. So I am lucky enough, or I suppose unlucky enough, that there aren't that many effect creators in my country, and
so the go-to.
Yeah, so like it's me and a couple of other people that are like the go-to. So I've been lucky enough to work with like Sony Music, Avon Cosmetics, another brand that I'm not allowed to mention, but I've worked with like Nestle and those sort of people. And I think the important thing that I always tell brands is that filters or effects are there to be fun. You have to have fun with them at the end of the day. You can't plaster your logo all over it. Like some brands want to have it on the cheek and then in the bottom of the corner. Where's the corner there? And then a frame with the logo, and then and nobody's going to use that, because at the end of the day, people want something that they're going to use every day for fun. And nobody wants to become a walking advert. Whereas when you make effects, you turn these people, when you make effects for brands, you turn the people using them into micro influencers for your brand. And that funnels down into the next micro influencer who then uses the effect, and that funnels down into their followers, and it carries on and it carries on. So that's the number one thing that I tell brands, is that you've got to have fun with it. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. Otherwise, it's just not going to be successful. And I'm very lucky enough that most brands listen to me on that advice. Somebody says, I think it depends how cool that brand is. Yeah, the brand has got to be pretty with it and pretty like cool and very like relevant, if that makes sense. Like you can't make an effect for a brand that's not going to be fun with it, you know. Sorry, I'm rambling now.
No, it's fine. I totally understand like that. A lot of times, people in marketing, they have their objectives that they need to push for campaigns, and they might not understand how the users actually use the effect, or how they would want the effect to be like. A lot of times people want effects that make them look good, not the brand look good. Who wants to be selling, like being a free ambassador for another brand not being paid or whatsoever? Who wants to plaster a huge logo on their faces, or have it follow you around? Like it's kind of odd. So a lot of times, like you want to think like of the user first, and that for them to make it very easy. Like for me, when I just started, I like had like gestures like this to like trigger certain things. I literally put that in like the pre-recording screen. There was almost nobody who did that gesture. So I would think like a lot of times, if the effect, it just works right off the bat, like you press record, it works as like as little interaction for, intervention for the user. That would be like something more effective, or people will use it correctly. or it could be
Yeah.
something like people are familiar with. For example, like the keyboard filter, the language filters are really popular a while back. Because a lot of people are using such effects, we can expect that the user is already trained and they know how keyboards work. And then that's how they were expecting. When I type the keys, I will see some things appearing. Like for example, the flower language one that was laying out the flowers on the screen, and everyone. I think I create the cat name anime language filter. I think Wanda created the cake language one. Anyone else created cake language filters?
Yeah, I did a witch's hat.
Oh, witch's hats.
Yeah, very cute.
Very Harry Potter team.
Yeah. So that's my number one takeaway is when you want to work with brands is keep it fun, keep it relevant, and keep it cool. I know I take it from me, who's probably the uncoolest person on the floor. You have to keep it cool. You have to keep it relevant. You have to make it awesome. And then, you have to keep it fun. You have to make it fun enough for people to want to come back and use it.
Yeah, I think so. Chigo's Games had a question: is there an obvious user intelligence difference between different platforms?
I'll answer that.
Okay, Amy, what's your take on this?
Me? I think people on Instagram, have been exposed to filters more and therefore more willing to try new and different things, whereas TikTok has got more capabilities in terms of user gestures and stuff like that. So I think they're more willing to do crazy things and play games and do interesting different things. And then Snapchat is just the weirder the better. The
distortions. Do you think facial distortions, things like that?
I don't know if it's particularly user intelligence. I think that there's very different audiences, and which is why you can't essentially copy paste an effect from one platform to the other, because it might do really well on TikTok, but it's not going to land as well with Instagram's users.
That's true. I totally get it. Yeah, I think game-like effects work very well on TikTok, even if they aren't essentially AR tracking or anything. Yeah, game stuff, because I think people on TikTok really like to flex. They like to show that they are good. So I think one of the things that I noticed is there were a lot of people who create impossible games so that they could I think one of the techniques that people have been using is to intentionally play the game really badly, so that people will be like, hey, I can do a lot better than this guy. Let me go and try and use that effect and make a better score. And they'll be like, oh, I can't beat this game. It's impossible. And then I think Usman has something to say about that. Do you?
I love those guys. They're great. They make my filters do way better. I befriended as much of those guys as I possibly can, and now I just whenever I make a game, I share it with them so that they will post how impossible this game is.
Yes.
And it works well. I do make actually difficult filters as well, but the ones that are easy, definitely I share it with them. I literally just did that as you were talking.
I knew it. Yeah.
So
that's how you do
here,
it. Oh,
it's called
Wait, what
Paint
called?
Mix Filter.
Oh. I see.
And so you mix the brushes together. So I just made this filter. It just got approved while we were talking.
Nice.
And so he puts impossible.
Yes.
And then he uses it, right?
I knew it. Yeah.
But it's not difficult.
It is not, but it's more fun to say that it's impossible. Then people will be like, yeah, I'm gonna try to beat it. And that's the behavior of the users on TikTok. Yeah. Maybe I wonder you have something to share about that, since you make a lot of game effects, don't you? Okay, your mic.
my income in TikTok or what?
Oh yeah, back. Well, I forgot we went too far into that. Okay, we're back in the about client projects that you've worked on and monetization, how you've been doing it.
Actually, my first income from creative effects come when I won a challenge. So the second effect I published won the challenge in Indonesia. It's my first one. After that, I was invited by Vanessa to be a mentor in mentor and mentee programs, and I got paid by that. And I got my first paid projects. It's also thanks to Vanessa because it's TikTok Indonesia, along with several others from TikTok subsidiaries like TikTok Shop. It's all thanks to her. After winning the Genshin Impact Challenge, I was invited to join journees. journees is the creators hub for First, the company behind Genshin Impact. They commissioned me to create effects for their campaigns. I think it's more than 5 effects in total. Honestly, I never been very active to finding clients. When the cake language effect went viral, a music company reached out to me.
Nice.
But they ghosted me after I sent them my red cards. Do you have any advice on how I can get more clients? I really want to learn.
Okay. Oh well, I don't know if I'm a good person to give advice on that, but like in Singapore.
Someone can give me advice.
Okay, sure, for sure. Okay, let me just try to give advice then. Okay, maybe I just share a little bit more about like myself. Because Wande brought up some projects that Vanessa has introduced. Us on. Like I've also been involved in a couple of effects that were introduced by the TikTok Effect House team. I believe at the start I was my first one was with TikTok Shop Singapore. So I made an effect for their, I think it was a 12/12 sale in 2020. Yeah, so 2022 I see. I did the TikTok Shop 12/12 sale. It was a really short timeline, I think like maybe a week or something like that. They were urgently needing an effect, and then like they were looking for someone to help make the effect. And like back then my community manager in Singapore, his name is Benedict, and he was like, oh, I see you can do the effects, well, maybe could you try to do this? And then like I was like, sure. Then and I think I did a good job. So after that, TikTok Shop Vietnam was like, I also want for the same effect. I mean, for the same sale, and then like that started and with TikTok Shop. But of course, the effect, in my opinion, like it was not a kind of effect that I would personally use. It was kind of like a dance thing. Like you could, like in the past, like gestures like this, you can put the emojis on top of the fingers, and you do like a finger dance thing. That was a period of time that was kind of popular. So they requested this type of effect. And then another one that TikTok introduced was the Mobile Legends Bang Bang effect that I did. So I think 4 creators, myself, Game Plus 40, I think one creator from the Philippines, and I think Thomas. We 4 of us were engaged for the MLBB effects, and so we had to create one of each. Mine was the one. Actually, my the brief was very simple. For mine, just put the ears of the character Eudora in the All-Star onto the ears. Then but if something like that, I can do that within like maybe 15 minutes. So I was like, I'm gonna do something more complex. So what I did was I knew that there was audio detection, so I made sure that I had some audio bars that will move according to whatever sound that you put in to your video. So no matter what kind of music, those bars will move according to the volume of the music, and the graphics will pulse according to the beat, like a third beat or something like that. So it's quite I was hoping for it to be something that, you know, is good for people who like to make dance covers. Yeah, so like I had gestures, and in the end, like the campaign was it involved like the K-pop group ITZY. I'm not sure if you're familiar with ITZY. Yeah, so ITZY was the ambassador for the All-Star campaign, and then but they didn't show me the dance, you see, because they were supposed to have a dance, and then they didn't show me the dance, so I didn't know what gesture to put. So I was like, oh my god, they're using the dance. Can I ask ITZY to, like, you know, do the dance? But like unfortunately, it was a little tough to, like, you know, make that happen. But like, yeah, I think a lot of times if the client, we have like more information on how the effect was gonna be, then or like how it's gonna be used in the marketing campaign, then us as creators, we can actually introduce better ways that the effects can be used and then marketed better. So you were asking about advice on how to reach out to clients. I think for myself, a lot of times people approach me because they saw my LinkedIn presence. So for me, I think like a lot of times marketers are the person, or agencies are the ones that reach out to me instead of the clients directly, because usually the agencies will have access to the clients and they are the ones running their entire like marketing campaign. So if you catch the attention of the marketers, who are actually the ones who are trying to convince the client, which is maybe some big company, to, you know, make an AR effect, that's where I come from. So for now, my approach is to create a LinkedIn article series, so that, you know, my article series is called AR 101 for marketers, so that the marketing people can better understand like why some AR campaigns work and some do not. And like, you know, so like one of my recent articles was 5 reasons why your AR campaigns fail. So I thought that would be a good, like, you know, oh my god, like, yes, it has been failing, like what did I do wrong, the kind of thing. I spent a lot of budget, and I thought I had a good idea. It was a viral effect. I copied it. Why didn't it work? Yeah, so things like that. So I thought like if you can grab the attention of marketing agencies, because for bigger companies, they don't usually engage with the creators directly. So if you can maybe I haven't really tried cold calling, so usually I just build like attention from creating content, be it on TikTok or on LinkedIn, and then that's how I find client projects. But I think another good way would be to, if you have existing clients, like for example your team, maybe you can get them to write a testimonial for you, so that you can include that in your website. So a lot of times I would like for big client projects, I will ask for a testimonial right after I close the thing. So yeah, when they give you the invoice, then you're like, oh yeah, I received your payment. Oh, thank you. So much. You know, would you kindly? I enjoyed working with you. Would you kindly write me a testimonial that I can display on my website? And usually, if you had like a good relationship with your client, and you know, it really doesn't take them that long to write a testimonial, and then you can like get an excerpt and then use it on your website, and that provides a certain level of credibility. A lot of times people want to know how was the experience working with you, and it's not necessarily a price game. You can charge more if you are a reliable creator, in my opinion. People are looking for people that can really deliver. Someone that charges cheaper might not be able to deliver things at a professional level that, you know, that we all can deliver. I mean, everyone in this call are professionals, so I'm just going to say, but then, like, you know, there are people, they can easily go onto Fiverr and find an effect creator, or someone who just grabs a template from maybe Usman and then uses and just change the graphics and stuff like that. So yeah, but why would they choose you? They would choose you because you are able to create effects and like really fine tune to exactly what they need. You have the capability. So I think two approaches I would go, of course, to grab the attention of the marketing people, and also to have evidence that you have worked on client projects and it was a positive experience, and to also be able to provide examples of effects that you think that the brand would be interested in. So I would try to target like if I created a prototype, maybe it's not a complete effect or something like that, I might like attempt to send it to certain companies that I think the effect would be suitable for promoting. So that's the approach that I would personally take. Yeah, so I hope that's helpful. I ramble a lot.
So much, Lynette.
No worries.
You give me so much insight for me. Any other?
Maybe anyone wants to share more? Maybe looks like Usman has unmuted himself. Maybe he has something to say.
Yeah, certainly. So keeping in mind that if you are targeting the agencies directly, instead of the clients directly, the agencies take a ginormous cut from the billing. I've worked on a filter that cost the direct client about $40,000, and I only got to see like $3,000 of that, and I did everything. Right?
I know.
So,
I know exactly how that feels. I know.
Right? Like, keep in mind, if you're going to be targeting the agencies, they're going to take 80-90% of what is going to be paid out. So, creating your own kind of AR dev studio is one, more profitable approach, and reaching out to these companies yourself
directly,
suggesting that these things that I found success a couple times, and the payout is significantly better that way as well.
I'm sure.
Yeah, these middlemen are taking 90% of it.
I know, profit, so. Right? A lot of times I think like I'm quoting this price, but I'm sure they're telling the client that it's this price, and they're taking a huge cut of it. So I think at the start, when you haven't reached out to enough clients on your own, you can start reaching out to some marketing people. But at the same time, after you worked on a project, the client more or likely would have known that you were the one who created the effect, and they might approach you directly, or you could approach them directly and bridge that connection. And it wouldn't be surprising if you charge a lot more when you work directly with the client also, because they will be expecting, oh, this is supposed to cost this much anyway, because that's what they were informed, it costs this much. But I'm hoping personally I could take over even the marketing part, the advertising segment, and creating things like that. So I hope to create my own agency eventually in the future, and maybe engage other AR creators to make effects, or other animators or artists or programmers to work on projects collaboratively. I think that's how we can all grow and all benefit. And in the end of the day, I think AR is really too good to not be used for marketing, right? The impact that people will remember using your effect, but they might not remember that image or video that they just watch and scroll past.
And then I also found that you can reach out to smaller businesses as well and just quote them smaller prices. If you manage to get a hold of someone at a company like Disney, you want to be quoting them $20,000, $50,000. You find some shop in your local town, maybe it's $1,000, $2,000. It's a big difference. Just keep that in mind as well. If you are struggling to find any clients whatsoever, then an AR studio is probably your best bet. Reach out to the studios directly and say, hey, I can create filters for X, Y, and Z. Maybe you want to provide that as a service for your clients, and I can be your contractor for it. So I have a few different AR agencies that rely on me for filters kind of on a regular. And it's if you are able to, way more lucrative to directly reach a client.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, a lot of times it really depends. If the client has already an in-house marketing team that you can reach out to, that it will be the best, in my opinion, right? Instead of an agency that they are working with.
What is the best method to approach them?
I found LinkedIn. I found that LinkedIn is pretty good. You can reach out to individuals directly on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So,
Connect with
I have a
them,
question.
speak with them.
Sorry, like, do you just say, hey, I create effects, this, or I mean, like, you just cold email them, basically.
Essentially, it helps if you identify things that they've tried in the past and then use that as the opening for their conversation. So it's a lot easier when they've done it before. Then you can reference that when you talk to them. So you want to do research on the company that you're reaching out to ahead of time, of course, and see if you can reference something that they can do, provide examples of what you could do for them. One way I landed a client was I actually built the filter ahead of time. Like an example, like here's a couple examples. I built two like simple kind of proof of concepts. And I showed them, it's like, here, I just made these two that would kind of fit your potential campaign for yourself, and see how they respond to that kind of thing.
Yeah, that works really well. I think like, a lot of times also like even like preparing portfolios for showing people, you gotta tailor to your client. Like you gotta make sure that when you're sending like a skincare company or like a sports related company, you gotta be showing different things. People don't want to be scrolling through your entire portfolio to look for that one thing that they want. They want to know like immediately how you can impact them. And like even if you show examples, like Usman said, it has to be like examples that like they can easily visualize their brand being used in it, and that would, I think, help to sell the idea a lot better. How about Joe? You got any insights?
Inside Joe.
Insights for clients. I would say, LinkedIn. I remember using LinkedIn in the sort of early part of Metaspark, and no one had an idea what these filters were. They were, but yeah, definitely LinkedIn. I think reaching out. As Lynette said, even having examples or a presence, let's say on Instagram or something where you can also send your clients or send like, okay, look, I've done this little proof of concept for you, but if you want to check out other things I've done, then check my Instagram or check my TikTok or check my website. So yeah, proof of concepts definitely work. I've always found that improving my skills as well, so that if a client comes to me, for example, and he says, oh, can we do this? Or we have this idea, have you got any other ideas that you can help us with? Then improving my skills just helps me offer something different to them, something they've never seen before or something they've never thought of. So yeah, that's why I just like having time to just learn all the new things so that the client comes to me and says, oh, we want this. In my head, I might think, oh, that is really simple. Try this. So offering them something else that might be a bit newer, maybe using physics, maybe using some of the newer techniques can also give them trust in you. But yeah, finding clients, I guess for me, quite a few clients reach out to me. But yeah, finding clients, I think it is definitely something I want to try and push for next year. But yeah, I think also maybe one thing I've always done is the clients that I've got currently, I'm always trying to be in touch with them every now and then, just to try and say, look, this is what is new, updating them on what is new so that they can always return. And then a lot of times in my emails, I always say, look, it's really good to work with you. If any of your other colleagues or any other person that you are in touch with needs a freelancer or needs someone to just speak to for advice, they can come to me, and then sometimes that advice turns into a new job. So it's always just read. Sometimes you might not even need to look for new clients. You might just have to refresh some of the relationships you currently have. So you might have worked with a Disney person, you might have worked with someone from Netflix. So throughout the year, you could always just reach out to them. Or what I like to do is follow them, and update my stories on what's new, so that I know that they're always watching my stories or watching my posts. So if I know they're watching my stories, they're always going to kind of have me in the front of mind. So if anything else happens, they might just say, "Oh, look, we actually need that effect or that technique for a new campaign next month." So I think posting regularly of things that you've actually done, or new experiments. You might just be experimenting with the physics thing, or you found a new technique to do something and you just post it as a story. It's not a filter, but it's just a technique. And then you can maybe in the next 3 filters, you can then put that technique into it and then show, look guys, I actually made it work. This is a new thing I'm offering. So I think that might be a thing. So looking at what you've currently got, if you don't want to reach out, or you don't know how to frame the email, or you don't know who to reach out to, you can always just look inwards and then see who's around, who you've got as clients, and then reach out to them. And they might then become your ambassadors and then push your work out to other people.
Awesome. Yeah, so actually in the comments I also saw like networking is really important. Yeah, like a lot of times word of mouth is also a very powerful way you can get clients, like referrals, etc. So really checking in with your existing client pool really helps a lot to help not only keep you on the top of their minds, but at the same time, it doesn't even have to be like clients that you're working with. It could be like you're posting on your personal Facebook on certain projects that you are working on your Instagram stories. A lot of times, even my friends who are like entrepreneurs, they would reach out to me just because they've always seen me updating and experimenting with effects. Then I will share them on my stories. They will see and they're like, hey, there's projects that I'm working on that are looking also for AR, and can we collaborate and work together. So that's another thing that I would do. So just don't be shy, just share, even if it's your personal Facebook or even WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups, friends that you maybe from college, from school. Just let them know, so that at least the word of mouth spreads, and when they hear, oh yeah, I'm looking for someone to do AR effects, then they're like, oh, I have a friend who does this, let me link you up. So you cannot underestimate the power of that. Okay, so we saw a question about
just one more thing.
Okay.
So there is there's a few other things you can probably try. So sometimes we all make really, really cool filters, and the client is like, yes, but keep this filter to yourself. We don't want to show that we don't want to be associated with it, especially when it goes through an agency. That's what I found. So if an agency comes to you as a third party, the client is totally fine with it, but the agency wants you to sign an NDA or do things like that. And so you can't publish it, you can't do this, you can't do that, because they want to be the core person. They want to be known as the company that made the filter.
Even if they weren't the one who working on it. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so they want you to be like an employee of them, and then you hush. And so what I started to do after listening to some other creators speak live is, in my contract I just say, look, I would love to, any filter I make for you is going to be used on my socials or my portfolio to just to showcase my work.
Right.
I make sure they agree to that in the contract, just to make sure that despite the NDA signed, look, I need to show this on my portfolio.
Yes.
If they're really tough about it, I'm like, that's totally fine. We can do after 5 months or after 3 months, I can then show it. So if you don't want me to show it for the first couple of months, then we can always do after a set amount of time.
Right.
But another creator told me, it's another creator doing something else. He said, look, another thing you can also do is you can just say, look, if you don't want me, this is one price. This is one price I can offer you, but this price includes me either showcasing it to my community as a tutorial or blah, 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 blah. If you don't want me to do that, because I think that creator does a lot of tutorials and stuff, if you don't want me to do that, then this is the other price, which is like, I can sign any NDA you want. I can do anything like that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell anybody that I did this effect.
Yeah, but you pay a little bit more.
Yes.
So
yeah, that's really smart.
It's there's a few ways to do it, because some people are, because I remember making filters and people were just like, oh no, you can't, you have to sign this, you have to do this, you have to do that, and I was just like, well, if Netflix don't want me to sign an NDA, why do I have to sign an NDA with you? But it's understandable. People want to protect their IP and all other things, but I always try to put time limits. I always say, look, I will sign this NDA, but after the project ends, then the NDA ends as well, or give me a couple of months afterwards, like 3 months, 6 months, then I can share it, because sometimes NDAs are a little bit too limiting, and a lot of people don't push back on things, but a lot of contracts, you can push back on contracts. You can always, because they might send you a contract. I always say, read the contract, and then if you want to push back, you can always say, can we remove this? Yes to this, no to this, what do you think? Because at the end of the day, a contract is just a negotiation, so you're just negotiating your terms. Once both parties are happy with the terms, you can go ahead. So never be too shy or too upset to push back on a contract, because at the end of the day, you both have to be happy to do the contract, and to do the project. So
Yeah, wow, excellent point. Actually, this is a great point that you brought up that I've been thinking about as well. Like sometimes, even in my recent project for the lantern, I was also concerned because I was gonna share it on my stories. It's actually even more publicly. I'm gonna put a LinkedIn post and stuff like that. But I was actually told that because I was working through an agency, through another agency, so it's an agency within the agency. So it's like it's not a direct connection to the client. Then I will say, they'll say, please don't tag the account. I'm like, because it's their project and stuff like that. So to me, it's like, oh damn, I did the whole thing, but like I'm not allowed to even share about it. This was not like what I agreed upon. Like you suddenly tell me this. I didn't sign any NDA. Technically speaking, I could technically just say, yeah, I did it. It isn't anything wrong. Yeah, but like if they make me sign something like that, yeah, I would really think twice about working with the place again. Yeah, and like you said, it's a very good point. The contract is a contract between you and with the agency or within you and the client. It is not something that's set in stone and it can be pushed back. This is something that I also personally have to remind myself. I do include the terms and conditions in my every quotation. I attach it to the back, but I think I definitely need to modify it to include publicity of it being used as my portfolio. I think like a good middle ground, if let's say they're really please don't use it and stuff like that, I would think when pitching for projects through a call or something, I can show actually I did this project, but even though I couldn't share about it because of the NDA or something like that, you can still use it in your portfolio, but it will not be the project that attracted the business in the first place. And sometimes it's something really big and you want to use it to attract business, right? So that's when what Joe mentions is really important, how we reach out to the client, how we negotiate our prices. And speaking of prices, just now there was a question in the chat about how we're pricing our filters, and what approach would you go about these pricing. So maybe Joe, you can share a little bit more about how would you price your projects?
Yeah, so price is an interesting one. I think it depends on the region of the world you are based in. Every market is a little bit different. US market is different from Asia, from Africa. So I think for me, it's probably I always kind of value my time. So my projects tend to start from £1,000 upwards. But when I say projects, like custom projects, so if it starts from that amount, I'm willing to kind of work on something. But then that's just the starting price. It can always go up. I'm always happy to go down as well. So as Usman said, sometimes a company is literally just it could be another freelancer, it could be another thing. So I'm always happy to compromise. And sometimes if I have to work with another freelancer and the freelancer is like, look, the client doesn't have a lot of budget, but I really want you to work on it, I'm happy to say, look, I can do 50% of the work if you can also do 50% of the work, and then that helps to alleviate some of the the cost. So I can probably do the programming of the logic, and then the other freelancer can do the graphics, and then that way we're both collaborating on it, and it doesn't have to be cost too much. So I think it honestly just depends on the project. I would not advise starting the project and saying and starting with time scale, saying like the project is going to take me 1 day, so I'm only going to charge this amount. The project is going to take me this, so I would say value the project based on the actual project, not the time it takes to do the project.
Because you take a lot of time to do it, to get your skill level to the point that you can actually do it fast. So the client's not just paying for the time that you actually work on it, but it's like the time that you gain your skills in order to make the effect so quickly. So if we shouldn't be punished for doing our work quickly, you see, right? In fact, we should be charging more.
But just as Usman said, like, I had a project that was fine. I did it in like I did it to the deadline, a couple of days. It was fine, but then it took another month just to fine tune things. Because people will go on holidays. People will. The holiday one is the craziest thing, because everyone in corporate is just like annual leave. Everyone is going on an annual leave for some reason. But,
not responding.
Not responding. But it's like sometimes the fine tuning, sometimes the bigger the company,
more layers of approval.
And there's just so many people that has to approve something, and by the time you're done, it's like a month later. So that also, you have to wait around for people. You have to provide a project, but they're also trusting you with your skill, and they might come back to you with questions as well, like, oh, can we do this? Why can't we do this? Can we push this? But they're trusting you to have all that knowledge to give to them. So always value the project and value the filter as a project rather than the time it takes you to do it. Every region is different, but I think starting from about $1,000 or £1,000, or some people £2,000 or $2,000 seems to be like a nice number for a lot of established creators. But again, don't expect everyone to give you that amount of money. You have to sometimes sell yourself. So you have to say, look, I've been doing this for a number of years. I'm really good at it. Ambassador, or I've won competitions. Basically, I'm really good at this thing. You can trust me. Any questions you have, I can answer them.
Any bugs you have, I can fix them.
Any bugs you have, I can fix them, or I can advise you. So you're kind of paying for a lot of things. You're not just paying for the filter, you're paying for my skills, my time,
your service.
But you have to trust yourself that you can, that you are good enough, not to be scared to, challenge your clients or things like that.
That's really important. Two things, like one, scope creep, and two, infinite revisions are things that I try to avoid. And one way I do that is after the project is delivered, like more or less I finish all the functions that I promised, I give them like maybe 3 free revisions, and everything after that I have an additional revision round quoted in my quotation, so that they will be cautious. It's not, technically speaking, I'm not trying to just like dig more money. It's just trying to prevent them from giving small little updates and asking you to update every like 1 day, 2 day. Oh no, this person said this, change this person changed that. It'll be more like they will be
just trying
thinking
to
twice
stop
about
that
doing this.
instead. Yeah,
Yeah, they
because it just
consolidate
sometimes
everything.
yeah, sometimes it drags on and on. So yeah, it's not as if you're trying to get money from them. You're just trying to say, look, I have a time frame.
Yes.
I need to work on this project for a month or for a week. After that, I've actually got other projects to focus on. So
Correct.
can you wrap up your thing? And can we wrap up this project in this time frame so that you can focus on other things
Yes.
and I can focus on other things, if that makes sense. So
Correct.
I just try to keep my agreements really short. I don't put too many big words in my contracts and agreements. I just say, look, this is it. Sign this. But I always try to have a Zoom meeting ahead of time, just to scope out the client and see what that's going on. But in terms of cost, I think it's so some clients come to me from templates, some clients come to me from just other videos they've seen of me out there. But I try to cost things a little bit differently. So templates, I go for a different route, and then custom projects, that's where I tend to put a lot of my effort in, and so I would charge appropriately for those things. But I think just don't be too shy to ask for the money. If you don't want to say, if you want to gauge what I found, if you want to gauge what the client has to spend, you can just ask, look, we've talked about this amazing project. What budget have you set aside for this project? And then sometimes they say, oh, look, we've not thought about the project. We've not thought about this. But I would say, oh, just give me a ballpark number. I just try to kind of play it down. Just give me a ballpark number of what you kind of you're willing to work with, and then I can see
Scale
on
the
my
project.
side. I can scale the project. I can always go back and say, look, okay, let me just review what we've just talked about, and then I'll come back to you with my price.
Yes.
But at least they've either given me a price or they've given me a ballpark number for me to kind of gauge.
Yes.
And a lot of times, I always go above their budget just to kind of see if they are also willing to take this on board. But pricing is an interesting.
It is a very interesting question, and a lot of times, I think because there are creators that may be new to reaching out to clients, and they will tend to know, oh, the client is asking me to push down the budget and that kind of thing, and it takes I guess courage or something to just say, hey, no, I'm not going to take this project because it's this is too low. I'm not going to undersell myself. I rather work on another project that values my time, and then I can really add on to. So for me, I think pricing wise usually depends on, firstly, the complexity of the project, secondly, the budget that they are able to afford. So usually they will give me some examples of what they want, then I will give them a quote, a rough ballpark figure of the range something like that will cost. I never promise how much I am actually going to charge over the phone or email. I'll ask them to write me a proper email in black and white. What do you want, so that I can quote you and I have time to go back and really think through, because a lot of times when people are really charismatic, they can talk all the way and you will be like, oh yeah, I'm so excited to work on this project, even if you're gonna pay me as so and so, that kind of thing. You gotta take a step back. A lot of times it's exciting to work with big clients, and you really should give yourself a little bit of time by saying that I'll get back to you at the end of the week with the quotation. Let me go back and revise and look through and break down different bits of the cost. So you see, you're helping them. Let's say if they can provide certain art assets or designs on their own, then if you could itemize it and quote it separately, and that can allow them to see, if I were to ask her to do everything, this is how much it will cost. If I get my own team to do maybe the art assets or whatever, this is how much it will cost, so that they can oh, okay, so her pricing is like this. I always think that it's not good for you to purposely lower your prices at the start. Especially you can quote higher, like what Joe says. You can quote like, you know, what the maximum of the budget, or even a little bit above, just so that you know, you can give the impression that your work is actually worth that much more. And then like if anything, you're giving them a discount based on like, you know, I'm really interested in the project, I really want to work on it, so for this one time I will give you a discount. It's my first collaboration with you to build the relationship. So things like that, you if you immediately like, oh yeah, okay, sure, I will take 2,000, I'll take 1,000 for this project, and it's like a big scale project. Firstly, is it really enough for your time? And then like secondly, could you be working on another project that actually values your time and money? Yeah. And then at the same time, are you working on a project that you actually enjoy doing? So for me, the idea behind the project, or whether I can actually influence how the success of this project will be, is very important. Yeah, like I wouldn't want to work on a project that I personally don't like and I think will not work. Yeah, because if I do on such a project, then it better be like, you know, for a lot of money, because like I don't enjoy doing it and I'm sure it will tank. And if they're not listening to me, then too bad for them. It will fail and they will waste their money. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm very candid about this.
Just one last point for me, I guess, on this is some people, again, talking money. Some people are not comfortable talking about money or talking about money to their clients. But honestly, in the first conversation you're having with them, I would say definitely mention or ask for their budget, and then that way you've kind of got the conversation out of the way. If you don't want to do that, one really cool trick I've learned or noticed is you can always send them a Google form or send them something and just say, look, this is my onboarding form. This is my form to kind of get to know what you want and who you are. So fill out these details. The form could have your name, what the project is, all those kind of things, but also put a little box saying budget. So I just put a little box saying, what is your budget? And then something that just says, for custom jobs, my rate starts at this. And then that way they kind of have an idea, okay, you're kind of pre-qualifying them and just telling them, look, okay, to get started, it means my budget has to be at least
minimum
this amount. Yeah, minimum that amount. So it just, if you're scared about talking about money on the phone, you can know it's not easy. You can just put it in a form there so that people at least know that is where it starts at.
Yeah.
And then when they fill out the form with their budget, at least they're telling you what the amount is. You know, so then that way it removes the awkward situation on the phone if you don't want to do that, or by Zoom and stuff like that. So again, if you're confident about doing it on the phone or Zoom, talk to them in the first chat. I would say, but or if not, then just send them a Google form to fill out their details, but also give a little box for budget and state what your starting price is, so that they have an idea.
Yeah, so we avoid those awkward conversations about budget, and they can go back and like, you know, review internally whether they do have a budget to run a successful campaign. Maybe Graham, you have anything to share regarding this? Maybe expand.
I mean, I don't have too much more to say. I think most of the things have been covered. I think a lot of those conversations are difficult, and if you look at everything in life, like salary for a role or an actual professional job, it's the same. People don't feel comfortable, and you have to weigh up how much you value your time, how much you value your experience and your knowledge and your skills, versus whether you want that project or what's the value in having that project as part of your portfolio. And sometimes you need to maybe drop a small bit lower than you're comfortable, because maybe the value of having that project as of your portfolio adds that money up. Or sometimes, you know, it's just important to have a project ongoing and you might need the money. So, you know, people's circumstances and situations are different. If you're going to learn from the project or potentially get another project as a result of that, then that's another factor that you need to include in as well. And if it's something, as you said, Lynette, if it's something that you're interested in, you know, it might be an enjoyable project and you prefer to maybe work on a project for 2,000 if it's enjoyable rather than 3,000 if it's not enjoyable, if the time is the same. So, you know, it's trying to weigh up all of those factors and then trying to make an informed decision when you have all of those variables on the table.
Yeah, I mean, like, have you ever had clients that, like, you know, ask you to host the effects on your own account instead of on their account? Yes?
I have once, yeah, and I don't mind. Like, either way, it's the same. Like, I don't generate any income from my videos or having my profile, so it doesn't make a difference to me whether it's on my profile or on a client profile. It comes down to, I think it was discussed before, whether it's the agency that's looking for that project or whether it's the actual brand. Sometimes, you know, brands probably aren't comfortable initially sharing that someone else created it because, you know, they're a big brand or a well-known brand, so they want to control everything. But I think some of the points that were raised there in terms of maybe building it into the contract that you can utilize that at some point, whether that's 3 months time or 6 months time down the line, and then put it on your portfolio, I think is something that's interesting that I haven't really even thought about. So that's something that I'm going to consider going forward myself. But I think a lot of the points that the team raised here are really important to understand and try to work through, and everybody's circumstances are different. So, you know, I think the main thing here is to not lowball yourself, value your time and your skills, and make sure that you're in the driving seat. You know, if you want to accept a project, accept it, but don't be afraid to turn it down, because, you know, if you turn it down, sometimes the clients will come back with more money. So you know, just because you turn it down doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to get the job. But once you're comfortable doing that, and I think sometimes the more you do, the more comfortable you are of making those difficult decisions.
Interesting. I saw Wande nodding his head about clients hosting the effects on your account. I think an interesting thing that I think we can look at it is sometimes if the effect is hosted on our own account, firstly, if there's any attention that's being drawn to the effect, people will likely to follow the account that created the effect. And secondly, let's say you are a huge influencer, maybe you like effect creators amongst us, there are people who are also content creators and very good at creating videos that are attracting a lot of followers, or they have a huge following. Like, for example, Dev said he has a huge following. Yeah, so, like, you know, people might want to have, like, you know, some of his the effects hosted on his account, and then him making a video. So it's a little bit like a content creator influencer hosting the effect, and therefore drawing attention to your brand. So, you know, different people market it a little differently. So Wande, what do you do?
Most of my client effects are posted on my own account. So as hire creators, they host me to promote the games and impact.
I see. I saw Thomas also does this a lot. I think, like, promoting games on his account, like, you know, creating videos and, like, you know, driving attention to certain campaigns. So I guess that's some different ways that, you know, us as creators, because we are not just being on TikTok, we're not just creating effects for people to use. If we create demo videos, we create content, we ourselves are, in a sense, influencers too, especially if we have a huge following. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else to add on to this point before we move on to the next one? Yeah, Haley, you want to say something? Let me expand. Okay.
No, I just think, like, what you and Joe were saying about, like, regarding regarding about, like, to be very strict with the clients, because, like, I've actually been one that actually has had several clients that, like, I've worked with like 2 or 3 like really big brands, but the catch was that I worked with, like, other creators that basically got me to do the whole project for them. So basically I didn't get the credit for it, so people don't know that I work for them.
Oh, no.
But I'd say honestly, like, when it comes to those areas, it's to where you have to keep in mind, like if you could be doing something else that could possibly get you 10 times more these projects because people know you actually did this work, versus doing to where no one knows you did anything and no one gives you any credit, then that's a very important thing to keep in mind. And something else that I'd say too is, and someone had recommended this to me a while back, and saying about basically like when you're doing a project, like when you quote a price or something, like cut it down, like split it between like the hours, the amount of hours that will likely take you. I agree that you shouldn't like do the price based on the time, but just in general, like say if you split like $500 between like 50 hours or something, I mean basically if you're not okay with getting paid the price per hour like if you would at a regular job, then you know 100% sure you shouldn't be taking that project, or that your time could be spent better somewhere else.
Like we have to have a baseline for ourselves, right? You know, if you know you're gonna take this amount of time, you cannot go below this price no matter how much you want to work on the project, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
And I think something else is just like know who you're working with, because like for several of my projects I've worked on a few different things. I've worked like on a thing for Crimson Education. They're like a thing that they help like with colleges. I've worked on for like Caracol TV. They're a huge TV network over in Colombia. I mean Cuba, sorry. Then you have Cream Silk. They're like a huge like hair care company and stuff, and that's what like several of the different projects I've worked on. Like I've worked on like those different projects, but I've also worked on a few others. But it's like know who you're working with. If you're collaborating with another creator or an agency or someone that's contracted you out, like get a feel of how they work. Even ask about like how they're like how they approach projects or just different things, because like say if you're going to go for a collaboration or something, you don't want to collaborate with someone that you just really do not vibe well, because otherwise it's going to make it as a miserable project and your work isn't going to be as good as it possibly can, and you're not going to get as much out of it. So yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Maybe we'll move on to the next topic, which would be.
I think that's why I wanted to say something.
Sure, for sure. Let me expand, Joe. Okay, go ahead.
Oh no, so I said Usman wanted to say something.
Oh, Usman wanted to say something. Okay. I thought you wanted to say something. Okay, go ahead, Usman.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of reinforce what they were saying. Yeah, Joe's advice is also incredibly useful during an interview when you're negotiating salary.
Yes.
Try and get them to say their budget first is very helpful in determining, everything. Pricing out generally, like if you're making a TikTok filter for like another TikToker who just wants to, improve his brand and stuff. Depending on how big his following is, you can kind of base pricing off that. But keep in mind, like if you land a Disney client directly, you could maybe get up to like 50 grand in a price. If you're dealing with a smaller shop in your town, the most maybe you'll ever get is 5 grand or something. So the size of the company, I think, is one of the biggest factors when you're trying to calculate a price in terms of how much they can pay. It's just, and then from there you can base it after kind of like a minor adjustment off that to the complexity of the project. And yeah, 100%. I don't think how long it takes is a valuable consideration in terms of the price quote. Obviously, it's for your internal. It's good to know how much you're going to be putting in time, like Haley said. Like Heather said. But for example, I've been doing this for like 15 years, doing software development in XR. My job in every company has been the rapid prototyper. So I have worked for 15 years trying to make things quickly as possible. So some filters that an individual will take several days, weeks to make, I can do it in like a few hours. That's literally the skill set I've been training my whole life. Yeah. So for me to charge this based on timing just makes absolutely no sense. Exactly. Never has in my professional life.
Yeah, so don't penalize yourself for working faster. That's
that's literally what I've been doing my whole life, like just trying to work fast. So it doesn't make sense for me to charge based off time at all.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. I think we can move on a little bit to the next topic, which is some challenges in marketing effects. Maybe Usman, you wanna handle that first?
Challenging the marketing of effects?
Yes, like getting people to use
Ah,
your
yes.
effects. Any challenges that you've faced so far? Like, with your effects?
For sure. Like if the filter is heavily branded, it does decrease people's desire to use it by a huge shot. Like even if it's super fun, it's following all the other kind of things to do.
One
If
logo.
there's just branding everywhere, people are not going to use it. They're just going to like, ugh. They're going to get repulsed by it. So you want to avoid the kind of over the top branding. But if in general, I make a lot of game effects. I know that Joe makes like amazing photo effects. I love those ones. That's very more artistic skill required than I have. But the game effects, at least I found, is that the game, if it looks cool, if there's something that like, oh, that's kind of cool looking happening, that helps. So the satisfying category is kind of an easy one to target there. Like, for example, like the fruit cutting templates that you've seen. I've just released one as well, but when you cut the fruits, that is satisfying, right? So if you want to get inspiration for some fun effects that you want, your goal is to be viral, then look up like videos of satisfying videos, right? Like satisfying videos, what happened in it? Can you make that into a filter somehow, into a game somehow? That will typically do well, is what I've seen. And then if you can just say like, oh, this is so hard, but it's not hard. It's actually an easy game, but you play it poorly, and that's one way I found a lot of people sell it. A lot of the influencers who play games do that. And that helps as well. And beyond that, like if your game is intuitive, that is going to have a significant impact on its reach. So if it's a fun, amazing game, but it's difficult to understand, it's not going to do well. That's just the bottom line. It just needs to be intuitive. People need to be able to easily understand and play it. So I think, at least for games, that's been kind of one of the biggest considerations.
Right. Interesting.
Usman, can I ask you a question there in terms of, if you're making an effect and you're trying to make it so that someone can easily spend a minute playing it, versus making it like a quick 10-second game where people will pretend to play badly so they can get a minute effect, what do you normally go towards? Because I've tried to battle this myself a lot, where obviously people can't generate money unless it's a 60-second long video. So I've tried to, over the time, try to make effects that easily allow them to spend a minute playing. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they'll want to play that over something where they'll pretend to be badly and spend 6 or 7 attempts to try and get something correct. So what's your thoughts on like your decision making process there when you're creating an effect and the time you feel a user will use it for?
Right. So if my concern is the longevity, and this is an excellent point, because the longer they play your effect, the higher RPM you get as well. So if your effect only lasts 5 seconds, your RPM is going to be lower. So that is another consideration. Again, I'm less focused on making money through the effects, through the reward system. But if that is your goal, one thing I found as a kind of a neat little trick is to create a restart button at the end of a failure or end of a success of your effect, and creating some sort of random altercation for the problem in your game, right? The challenge in your game. So, for example, I create this paint mix one, and in this one, the color target that you have, it's randomized every time you play. So there's replay value. I didn't do the second tip here, but you can add a retry in a button image that you tap on. You don't want them to stop recording and then start recording again to restart your effect. You want a retry button, because then that will maintain the recording and increase your RPM, increase the longevity of the effect. So these 2 tips I found have been very effective. I don't implement them both every time, as that's not my main goal, but if that is your goal, those 2 help a lot.
Yeah, it's something that I've done a lot as well. I think the randomness, is a key thing, because each time someone plays it, they get a completely new narrative. And I think that's a key thing. If you have something where it's the same all the time, generally people will only play it once. But if they're going to get a different initial view or additional initial 2 colors where they have to decide, right, what 2 colors are going to make this color, they're going to keep on trying because it's going to be new each time. So I think that's a key point that I've also tried to kind of implement in my ones, is that randomness and the variation between not only providing someone with 4 options, provide them with 16 and choose a random 4 each time, or whatever the case may be.
Right. And then the other one I have, for example, is the racing effects that I have. So I just make the track as long as I need to be to reach that 60 seconds. So I have the Impossible Race 4 out. That track everyone will take at least 23 seconds to complete the whole track. It's a reasonably sized length of a game. But in my previous Impossible Race 2, for example, I made the laps, like you have to do 2 laps to win. And so it's like 45 seconds to a 60-second game then instead. Right? This kind of thing.
Am I muted? Hello? Okay, maybe Wanda, you want to say anything about the challenges that you face marketing effects? Or do you face any challenges?
Yes. Actually, I want to talk about the client effects, marketing the client effects. It's so nerve-wracking when the client's effects doesn't have many video posts. Do you think it's a responsibility for us to make the effect viral or not?
No. If you want the fight to be viral, it shouldn't be our responsibility, to be frank, unless we are being paid to market the effects. Then that's something that you can consider, because virality it is also, I mean, of course there are ways you can try to push the effect to more people and stuff like that, and do some groundwork. Yeah, I do a lot of that because of the nature of my country. I'm from Singapore, so my country is very small. My videos get only pushed to people in Singapore and barely any countries abroad. So I actually have a lot of challenges marketing effects, and that's why I created a series on how to market AR effects, because it's especially difficult for Singapore. Firstly, people don't like to use effects in Singapore. Secondly, our videos do not reach outside our shores. So I actually have to do a lot to make sure that the right target audience are using my effects. Or every time I post an effect, probably the first few hours there will be 0 people using, and maybe like 1 or 2 kids from I don't know where, India or something, and they will not know how to use my effects properly. It will be like very random babies, or some weird like videos that they use like 7,000 effects or something like that in that one video, and like, where's my effect? Yeah, so my initial post will always be things like that. And then so what I do, I mean, I'll just share this with you guys, and I'm just not gonna keep this, but I actually will go and try to find the target audience that I think will be interested in using my effects, and I literally comment on their videos like, hey, I created this. So like my cat anime language filter, I know recently, yeah, it's kind of viral, right? But it was not viral because naturally it was viral. It was not. Like at the start, like it had barely anybody using it, and my videos will not get pushed out to outside of Singapore. And like I said, people in Singapore don't like to use effects. So what I did was like literally go and find people who are already using the language filters on their videos, like people who do a lot of compilations of like the language filter, then, or maybe like people who have used like what I will go and find. I'm like, okay, I just admit what I do. Okay, I will go and find language filter on my TikTok search, and I will filter by recency. I will filter by amount of engagement the post gets of views, and then I will actually comment and let them know that I create an effect that is similar. Go and try and see like how your cat would look like. I went to like the people who use the flower language filter. I went to those filters and videos, and I commented on all of them. So I spent like a week, more than that, every single day. Like as long as I had any free time, you will see me commenting on all these videos and like suggesting that people try. Or because when I joined in and the language effect kind of I created the effect, I was already 1 month late you've already created the cake language effect.
Yeah.
You notice that, why did Lynette create this language effect when it's like so late in the trend? Like, is it gonna flop? Because like that's what I thought. I thought it would flop. And there were already 2 other cat language filters, so I had to stand out. So what I did, of course, on the base level, my effect I think was different because I actually painted and drawn every single cat in the background and everything that you saw, all the different customizations. I actually drew and paint everything myself, but there was no AI used, there was no nothing. It was literally me and a pencil, and we draw, and then I use my iPad, and then I just draw the different variations and everything, and then I created the effect. It was based off a template that was done by everything super sappy, yeah. And then initially, I don't know if you know, but I have never used a template before to create an effect, so I had like this barrier. I was like, I don't want to use someone else's template. I have never done so that was actually the first time I used someone's template, and even if I used it, I made sure that I made so many modifications to it that it's not exactly the same effect. So for mine, I think the Super Sappy's template, it was quite manual lah. Honestly, I think there were a lot of things that could have been done more efficiently, but it was easy to use as a base template. Then I had to include a spacebar. I had to make sure that the first character had to be an array that was only the base of the cat, then the facial expression, then like accessories. I think it's a hat first, then accessories, then like things that will appear in the background, so that every single letter had the variants and they will be placed in a certain way. So I had a lot of different arrays for the different characters, and then like, of course, working off that base effect made it a lot easier for me to get started and really customize and make it better. But like I could have done things like more complex things, or maybe more feedback like you did all the squishiness, like the keys individually, they will animate and all that stuff. I really I wanted to do this. Honestly, I was thinking like, okay, if I hit 1k use, maybe I will try, or maybe then later it'll be like, if I hit 10k users, then maybe I will improve the effect. Then I was like, or maybe I will hit 100k, then 1 million. Then I was like, you know what, even if I added this all those feedback, I thought of like maybe hiding the user's name, because maybe some people don't want to use the effect because they don't want to show their full name, but yet they want to see the cat. Yeah, so things like that. I thought of all these things, but I was like, should I spend the time? Oh, Amy is back. Okay, let me invite Amy. Yeah, so should I spend the time to improve this effect, or should I be working on the next effect? And then I decided, yeah, I should spend my time better. And a lot of people were asking for the dog language, anime language version, because they want to see how a dog would look like. But yeah, I haven't gotten to it because my iPad spoiled, and then it was his last project, and then it died. So I have a new iPad right now, so I did like a sketch of like how the dog would look like. But for dogs, it's a lot different because their facial structures are different across the different breeds. I think that is the main reason why there isn't a head tracker for dogs, because their snouts are all in like different sizes and stuff like that. Cats are generally like the same in terms of the facial structure, but for dogs it's like really very different. Like a bulldog will look very different from like a corgi or another breed. So that's why I think there are only like facial distortions or like the stickers for dogs, and never AR head tracker. I think that's because of the variance. Yeah, Amy is back. Let me put her on the big screen. Okay, your mic. Okay. Hello. Hey. Wait. Can you turn your mic back on, or let's see.
Oh, there we go. Now it's on.
Okay, now it's on.
It's good to be back.
Okay, I hope everything is good with you. I think, what was the last question that you answered?
About clients, I believe.
Okay.
Just going to the notes.
Okay, so maybe you can share us your experience working on client projects.
I did remember, and I said that they have to be fun, and the brand has to be relevant, and
Yes. Okay, how about any challenges with marketing effects that you've faced so far?
oh yeah. So one of the big things for me is that I'm like very self-conscious of the way I look, and people are not very kind on the internet to people who are like overweight, like I am, and stuff like that. So like, it's difficult for me to like show my face, especially with the kind of effects that I make, which is like makeup filters and like beauty effects and stuff like that. So it's like it's difficult for me to like market my effects. I prefer marketing my effects where I show like the behind the scenes process instead, and then like we'll show like a snippet of what the filter looks like at the end, because I'm not one of those conventionally like pretty like filter makers or filter models or something like that. So yeah, that's a big challenge for me. The other challenge is like getting reach. Like I really struggle with reach because I am not South Africa's target market for a filter creator, and I'm not like as cool as what they not as cool, but I'm not as like with it as what you have to be successful at TikTok in South Africa. So yeah, that's another challenge that I have.
Right. So it's more of like the reach that you get in South Africa. It's a little similar to like do people in South Africa actually like to use effects in their videos, or do they actually not?
Yeah, they do, but like not the type that I make. My filters are really big in like the Philippines and Indonesia and Malaysia. So yeah, but South Africa's, yeah, they don't like me.
Yeah, I think like I feel the same. Like in Singapore, people barely use my effects, but like Indonesia is a very big market, and like I think like my following, a lot of it actually after the cat anime language filter, most of my followers seem to be from the US, and also like second probably Indonesia, Thailand, etc. Yeah, so it is interesting that initially when the effects like I started getting traction was actually a creator that was French. Yeah, so it was a French student, I think. She had only like about 2,000 followers actually, not a big following, but like she started like her video get a lot of views, and then like people started to do like the trend of like what, I don't care how my cat looks like, they're like just doing this, and then they like, oh, I care a lot, and like I'm like typing the name and finding out how cute my cat is. So yeah, I think like trends like this, a lot of times I have to rely on like video creators to like use my effect, and then like for it to go viral, or their videos to are the ones that actually push people to use my effect and not my own. Yeah, do you feel the same for yours?
Yeah, if it weren't for like 6 or 7 like really big creators I think in the Philippines that used my like one filter, like it wouldn't be like, I wouldn't be as successful as what I am now.
I see. Okay. Anyone wants to share more about their challenges?
Sorry?
Anyone wants to share more about their challenges marketing? Oh, Wande. Okay, let me put you on.
I think I just remembered something. I have a challenge with the user behavior, especially in the game effects. They often just try the effects without posting videos. I frequently see comments on my videos like, try it, got a high score, delete and keep scrolling. And it impacts our statistic, right? Do you experience it too?
Oh wait, sorry. Which one? Can you repeat again? I didn't get it.
it's regarding the user behavior. So, especially in game type effects, they often just try the effect without posting the videos. I frequently see comments on my videos like, try it, got a high score, delete, and keep scrolling like that. It's
So they opened
in
the
the
effect
suggestion-
and they tried it, but they did not post a video on it. Yeah.
and I hope the new global leaderboard feature solve the issue
Yeah, I think
because
That
Is it?
still helps though, right?
yeah, it does.
Them doing
yeah.
Like
it's better than them scrolling away.
what were you saying?
Even if they opened your effect and they tried it, even if they didn't post a video, it still helps overall in the
Yeah.
algorithm, your effect, because any video that gets a person to click on a filter link, that video gets an artificial boost in reach as well. So I mean, they're still helping your effect.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like time to time, I actually do a little data analysis on the effects and the stats that we get. So what I do is like I have like all the the views, amount of opens, amount of users, amount of posts, and then I will do like a little analysis on, like, for example, like let's say I will put like maybe opens over, let me check my sheet. I actually have a sheet. Let me fire it up. So usually, like, it opens are a good measure to say that people are interested in that video that you posted, or someone created a video and they were interested in that result of the video enough for them to want to try your effect. So that is one of the metrics that you can take note. So like, yeah, even if they opened it and they didn't use it, it means that the video, your filter probably was attractive enough for them to even open the filter and try, even if they didn't post it. So for my cat anime language filter, there were a lot of people who opened the video and then they tried it and then they saved the file, but then they didn't post it because they didn't want to post their name on it, right? So they don't want to put their name on social media, and that could be one reason why they don't want to, or they didn't get a good score and therefore they decided, yeah, I suck at it, so I don't want to post. So usually people, in a sense, like, when you do well, you want to share, and when you don't do well, you don't want to share. Yeah, so that's something that you can take consolation, that the fact that they opened it would be something like they are actually interested in your effect. So back to now my sheet, I'm looking at it. So for me, I'll put post over opens as a measure of how the tendency to show people after using. So if they open the effect and they decided to post on it, is after they see the result, they feel like sharing to people. So that was what my measure was, and that was one of the things that I look at. Another would be likes over views, which is the tendency to like the video that you've seen. So like, if they liked the video a lot, by after seeing like how many people actually like the videos that they saw that used your effect, I think that could be a good measure. Another would be shares over views, tendency to share with friends after you view the video. And the last one would be opens over views, the tendency to try the filter after seeing the video. So if you have a lot of opens, and I think it can help to measure certain areas. So we don't read the analytics like just as is, like the numbers, but I think putting it through like such a little bit of analysis can help you better understand whether which effect works better. So for me, I when I put on the sheet, I also include how many days does it take for me to make an effect, and then in the end, like, how worth it was my time spent to make the effect. So and surprisingly, a lot of times, like, the videos that are the most viral aren't the ones that are the most worth making, or maybe the ones that you spend a lot of time working on, and in the end, like, there's not enough views or there's not enough users, and then you feel like, oh, was this worth it? Like, I think one that did very well in the worth category for me was this bucket hat cat filter, which I took less than a day to make. It's just a bucket hat and sunglasses on a cat. And then surprisingly, it did really well. The post over opens was like 12.79%. No, it's actually quite high. And then like, yeah, it performed really well, even though it was, in the end, I think the number of posts that were actually using it was only 10K, but it measured that like people who actually saw it actually wanted to make a video of it, and in the end they posted it. So it performed well in that sense. Yeah, so like it is more like if the person had a cat and they saw this video, they are very likely to make a video and post it. So like yeah, so that's like, yeah, I mean different effects I guess perform well on different metric levels. So I think like it's not fair to use the same yardstick to measure the different types of effects that we have. So yeah, don't be discouraged.
And I think one as well is there's a lot of people that just don't want to show their face on TikTok. So what I've started to do, and I haven't gone into any detail like Lynette has, but I've started to include a feature at the beginning before they click record to allow them to hide their face, which just puts a single 2D asset up 720 by 1280 or whatever the size of the screen is, just initially, and it just kind of helps. Now a lot of people that use my effects do that themselves, but if you can give them an easy way of just doing it so they don't have to turn the camera around and put it on the table or whatever, that might increase some of your usage. But that's what I found kind of has helped me in previously, is to include an option for people to hide their face initially.
Nice. Okay. Any more before we move on to the next question, which will be about the recent changes in the AR space? Anybody? Okay, then we'll just move on because we're like, you know, probably 2 hours, almost 3 hours into the live. Okay, so about the recent changes in the AR space, maybe you can check a little bit about like Spark. So anyone wants to chime in on like Spark? Okay, I can see Amy wants to share something. Let me put Amy up. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, Spark closing down it felt like a gut punch to me. It literally felt like somebody close to me had died. Like, I know that's so awful to say, but it was so hard because I put so much like love and care and attention into building my portfolio for Spark and working with brands, and it's like a large part of my income was making Instagram filters, and yeah, and now it's just being taken away. And like, that's, I don't want to say it's like, oh, you know, it's all about me, because people are losing their jobs, but like, I'm also losing my job, so I get to make it a little bit about me. So, you know, I'm eternally grateful for what the Spark team has done for us and what they do for everything, what they did for us, like behind the scenes and stuff like that. So it's not like, I don't want to come across as I'm being ungrateful, but at the same time, like, they could have given us like a bit of more of a heads up. Like, I know that they gave us 4-month warning, but yeah, like a proper heads up instead of just a Facebook post.
Yeah,
you know,
that would have been a lot better.
was rough. That was so rough, because like logging into Facebook, I think it was like the afternoon for me, and I just logged into Facebook randomly and I saw this post, and I was just like, my first reaction was like, oh my God, how am I gonna survive? Like, because I make money off of the it's pretty crappy the way that they did it. Somebody said in chat now but at the same time, like, you know, I get it. If it's not making money for them anymore, if it's not sustainable, then I guess, you know, it's something that we can't expect them to carry on it forever, you know. So I think it's important to now look into things that are more sustainable, like web AR or web XR, or even branching into VR or mixed reality. I think that's the next step for all of us.
Yes, for sure. We can't just be in social AR and relying on these platforms who anytime can pull what Spark did and, like, you know, close down. So I guess it is a good reminder maybe that like we need to keep ourselves agile, and like in such situations could happen. It would be entirely be a business decision. I guess it costs money to run, and the to keep the software updated, especially according to what they said, it didn't really work out with them for implementing it with their new wearables. So they had to close it down. And I just think that it could be done a lot better, but I guess we already saw the writing on the wall when the community like effects were coming, like the updates were really slow. There were no responses regarding many of the issues, like even like more recently, like the Android Android phones couldn't preview the preview effect. That caused me some problems. I mean, yeah, guys, don't worry, it will work on Android. I was just like, it better work on Android, because a lot of people use Android phones, it's not just an iPhone world. So for me, it's like, oh my god, it better work. And it did work after it was posted, but not the preview. So things like that, we kind of already saw, it might be going down, but at the same time they gave us some hope, because they were like, oh, we're developing something AR, so we will naturally think that Spark will be the platform that they are going to push. And then that happened, it just suddenly happened, and I was like, I told the client, I was like, I told you guys to do TikTok, and then you guys chose to do Spark. Look at that. that's what happens.
On the plus side, it doesn't look as though Snap is going anywhere anytime soon, and I think Effect House is still in its infancy, that it's still got some life to it, and hopefully it will have life for a very long time, because a lot of us have put eggs into this basket now, which I don't know if that's a mistake or not. But I don't think so. I don't think so.
Well, it's interesting that Meta's pulling out of this, but then we see Spark ramping up, and also YouTube joining the game. So that's a interesting one. I think we got to look out for it. Maybe Haley, Heather, would you like to share a little bit about what you thought about the changes that are happening recently?
I think, well, for Metaspark, honestly, like you said, I think it was to a certain extent you could kind of see the writing on the wall, but after the last update where they changed a few things, updated the visual scripting panel and stuff, I really thought they were going to actually, they had a chance that maybe they were actually planning to update. But I mean, that was really sad and stuff, because just got the Metaspark certification and all of that, but because they were closing down, so it was kind of it was just really messed up. But I think to a certain extent, I also think, say with MetaConnect, I think MetaConnect's supposed to happen next week and stuff. I think there's a lot of new things that's coming around. Like you were saying, between TikTok, Snapchat with the new spectacles, and then YouTube ramping up.
All right. How about Joe, Graham? Anyone wants to take this? What were your thoughts? No? How about Joe?
Okay. Metaspark 8. It was a good run, but I think we saw for a while there were some issues, wasn't it? So there were update issues, and the community changed after just a few reshuffles. So I think, but if you started from Metaspark, then it was a nice way to learn and move over to other platforms, because I had never worked with node-based programming before, so it was interesting trying to learn how it all works. Then Effect House also uses a similar sort of system, so it was a nice transition over, or let's say it was an easier transition over compared to how it could have been. So I think there's a lot to be grateful for, even just helping the community to grow, having a sense of community. Then that kind of moved over to TikTok, and everything we started sharing that community with Instagram as well. But I think it's just a sign. I believe is a sign of where things are going. Not necessarily every platform, but just the focus on certain companies. Just like how Facebook laid off a lot of people. They're now switching their gears a little bit towards AI, it seems. And there's a lot of AI integration into a lot of different technologies now. So many companies are utilizing AI. Even YouTube have started or have announced that they want to start using AI to make YouTube Shorts, which is interesting. So I think it's kind of a sign where different companies want to take things. But it was definitely a nice little stepping stone for everyone that started with the Metaspark to kind of, for me anyway, it was a good way to learn how a whole community runs. It was a good way for learning how Node visual scripting sort of worked, marketing, portfolio work. So it was a nice. Have we lost Lynette? But it was a nice system for me.
Yeah, I think my camera is off. Let me wonder. I wonder why. Okay, new terms.
Yeah, it was a nice system.
Okay,
it was a nice sort of transition for me anyway. But I understand it's affected a lot of people's income, a lot of people's work, a lot of people's focus as well. But hopefully it gives us a little bit of free time to sort of learn some other platforms like Snap AR, Eighth Wall, or even AI as well, kind of seeing how we can utilize AI to either speed up our processes or, see what direction that is going. Because I feel like a lot of us are creatives. So despite, and a lot of us use Metaspark or TikTok or Snap AR to express our creativity. So it's unfortunate that one door like Metaspark is kind of closing, but hopefully they produce either a new tech or something that we can also learn to then, if it becomes popular, to then either monetize or have an income from that.
Interesting. Yeah, so maybe because this is running kind of late, so I guess we'll have just one last thing that we'll share a little bit more about. What do you think is the future of AR in your opinion, like moving forward?
It seems to be moving towards world AR, or at least glasses and spectacles and things like that.
I think so too.
In the sense of different companies have got their own headsets. Different companies have got their own. Seem to be pouring money into making spectacles, so they want people to interact socially with other people, but also to look out in the world and use AI and AR to interact with our day-to-day. So they want us to wear headsets or glasses to look at things, so we can look at a flower and ask the glasses, what are we looking at?
Yes.
But we can also interact and build something to hover around that flower, or to express our creativity in the outside world that's supposed to just on our screen. So I feel like AR is kind of moving more towards that. But if you think about it in this way, the more, I'm just thinking, because we've got the London fashion show that's happening or happened sort of this week, imagine Snapchat or another company partnering up with Venice, a fashion show or a film festival, where everyone on the front row, everyone watching the catwalk has got their glasses on, and all the models are walking down the runway, but we are seeing other things happening around them as opposed to just the clothes. Or you have the runway and every model is wearing something that one of us has created.
Yes.
So
that
I
would be
feel
so
like
cool.
that's kind of where the future is going. The future is kind of moving more towards maybe spectacles. I think it will still be on our phones. It will still be on our phones for sure, but it might just take different.
Becomes like the era of AR wearables, like glasses and spectacles taking over, and maybe when they become a lot more I guess economical, like not so expensive, then I think like, you know, mass market adoption will help. And then maybe in the future, you know, when we're walking on the streets and we're having our spectacles on and we're looking at a sign and then the sign just pops up and then something animates out of it, or we can play a game or can find out a lot more about certain things. Yeah, I think that would be really cool.
It could always be a good way for marketing as well, because it could be a situation where, look guys, we all go to watch let's say a movie, or okay, someone, let's say Netflix is launching a new movie, but to get this particular promotion you've got to discover a poster. If you look at the poster through your glasses, through your spectacles, you will see a whole different experience, and maybe a QR code that you can scan, or maybe like a code that you can take away. So I think for us, there's it's interesting that everything is now pass through or see through. The spectacles, you can use it to, you know, like a normal glasses, or you can see through it. Apple Pro Vision, you can also see through. Letters, Quest, you can see through as well. So, and even their glasses as well, they're just like normal glasses. So I think despite Meta closing, there's still a future for marketing using the spectacles, because I can just see a lot of ways that people can hide really cool experiences. You're looking at a building, looking at a poster, or let's say an interaction with more than one user. So you can make an effect where there's more than one user, and all of a sudden something happens. Again, this is just me just brainstorming, but
right, you never know. I mean, like, I think these are all very possible things, especially after watching what the spectacles launch and everything happening. I think like, you know, it is really in the near future already. Like when I saw the launch, it was like, oh, the future is here. Like we were talking all about, you know, wearables and everything, and then like they can launch something and you just have the interface in your hands. And I thought like, whoa, gestures, no controllers anymore, no more fizzling around your phone. And as soon as like, you know, things become like lighter, more like doesn't look so clunky, it already starts to look a lot better, you know, like like better than having a huge headset. I mean, you saw that promo video about like the huge headset. Yeah. So anyone else wants to chime in on this? Alright, good. Okay, I am very happy to have, like, you know, we still have 43 viewers on the stream. Thank you everyone so much for joining us today. It was a long live stream, but I really hope that, you know, it was helpful for anyone that was thinking of you know, developing your careers in AR, or just in general curious how filters are made and how effect creators like ourselves like make money out of filters. And then please do look out for any future sessions we might have, and like, you know, follow all of us on TikTok and our social media platforms. You can find them in the post that I posted on my account where I tagged everyone. And like, yeah, thank you everyone. I will be ending the live stream really soon. Yeah, so thank you. Right, goodbye.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Guys.